Welcome to Lifted, elevating the game. Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and welcome to episode 12 of the Lifted podcast, part 4 of our Minnesota interview series. Great guest today, but before we get to our guest, I did promise you guys a little bit of a sneak peek on the schedule, which I have in front of me. I will not be releasing the schedule directly on here. I will just be highlighting a few games that I'm sure everyone's looking forward to. The schedule, this podcast should be released on Friday morning, afternoon, which then in turn the schedule will be released Friday night, so that when you go to volleyball, you all can discuss it. We'll start off with Allentown Union versus Allentown Challengers. That'll be on Saturday morning. So all the Allentown people, Friday's your day to warm up. Saturday morning, you get to face off against each other. Van City A versus New York A, that's Saturday morning as well. New York A versus Stars A, that's Saturday evening, prime time. I will be probably commentating that game. Minnesota gets a tough beginning. They play Stars A and Orlando A Friday evening. Wow. So pretty much all their big games are on Friday. So and you know what? That's big games for Stars, big games for Orlando, right? Because hometown team. That'll be very interesting. And then the big one, Stars A versus Orlando A, Saturday afternoon, like midday around 3-4. That's gonna be the one, right? Everyone's waiting for. I see Imran shaking his head. That's the one everyone's waiting for. Stars A versus Orlando A. So here we go. That's the beginning. I'll just go over it one more time. A few games I'm highlighting. I can't give out the full schedule. That'll be released Friday. But Allentown Union A versus Allentown Challengers A, that's Saturday morning. New York A versus Van City A, Saturday morning as well. New York A versus Stars A, Saturday evening. Minnesota versus Stars A and Orlando A, that's going to be both Friday evening. And then Stars A versus Orlando A, Saturday afternoon. So mark your calendars. Make sure you're there, because it's going to be a lot of big games. Now on to my guest, a man that I have been wanting to interview for so long. It took a lot of work to get him on here. As you can see, his setup 10 times better than mine. I don't know if anybody helped him. I'm pretty sure that looks like Swaggy's reels, but it's okay. We'll act like it's his. Imran freaking Nasser, the dog. Thank you so much, Imran, for being here. I really appreciate you taking out the time.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me. I'm excited, man. Like, podcast is not something I do.
I know.
Like being on the camera.
I know.
But we had to do it. We had to do it this time.
We had to. It was
shout out to Swaggy, man. Swaggy's got the killer setup here.
Yeah,
so
killer setup.
He hooked it up for sure.
Stars has been the talk of everything in volleyball since the Orlando tournament. And so when it came down to, who did I want to interview from Stars for this tournament, it only made sense. The guy I was talking about the most, the guy who I think is going to be the difference maker, Imran Nasser, he had to be the one. And I'm so grateful that you came on board. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We'll get right to it.
Yep. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, of course. Your introduction to volleyball is different than most.
Yep.
Because me and you know each other from basketball. You played on the New York B team for us one time against New York A. I think we beat them in a Toronto tournament in the quarterfinal, get to play the semifinal against Iceland the next morning, get wiped.
Yep.
But nobody ever
Iceland. Unbeatable.
Yeah. Nobody ever remembers that. All we care about is the fact that we beat the New York A team, and we did it with Imran Nasser. Talk to me about how that beginning started, because you were a basketball player. Everyone knew you as a basketball player. And then how did your introduction to volleyball come about?
Yeah. So first of all, I got a question is what happened to basketball? Like, what happened to those tournaments?
I know, man.
I don't know the reason why they stopped. Like,
I have no idea.
Just out of nowhere.
It just stopped, and it was big, man. I thought it was going. I think one tournament in New York, we attempted to revamp it, and just didn't get enough people that wanted to come.
Not enough people.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's crazy, but yeah, for volleyball, interesting. I never grew up in volleyball. Yep. I never watched it. I never even checked it out, man. To be honest, like tournaments, basketball and volleyball together, I never even really took a look at the volleyball side.
Right.
So for me, it was like it wasn't even a thing. I was playing ball. I was playing ice hockey.
Yep.
Softball. So yeah, volleyball. Like, to me, my opinion on volleyball is very different than it is today.
Oh, I'm
right?
sure. I'm sure.
It was very different. You know, when I did check in, it kind of looked a little bit, you know,
like Fugazi a little bit, right?
yeah.
Yeah. It didn't look like a real
But
sport, right?
yeah, but that changed when I started for sure. That changed for sure. So 2010, I get a call from Ali
2010.
Remtullah,
Okay.
and he's like, "Hey, buddy, like I got this team called 786ers.
Right, right.
We used to have a team in Montreal.
Montreal. Mm-hmm.
So now that we're all here in Toronto, and he noticed like our family, like the age group in our family, there was so many of us, and we were all kind of in the same age group. And I think he thought this was a perfect opportunity to like get the guys together.
Right, right.
So more than anything, it was just about getting together, hanging out, playing a sport together, that kind of thing, you know?
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of like how it started off.
When you get that call, do you automatically go, nah, man, that's not for me? Or do
Oh
you
yeah,
like, yeah,
no.
I'll give it a shot?
No, answer was no. The answer was no.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What made you eventually go to a practice?
It was he was smart, man. Like he had all the family.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you can't really say no to that, man. Like
yeah, that's
at the end of the day, once a week, twice a week, hanging out with your boys, like
yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's whatever, right? It was worth it. It was worth it to just give it a shot.
If anybody, if you were going to stop playing basketball or at least move from basketball to volleyball, what better team to join than the 786ers, right? The closest thing to a basketball name in our volleyball, right?
Yeah,
so
true.
It made total sense.
Yeah.
The creation of 786 happened in Montreal, but he had a revival in Toronto. You guys all join it. What was your first tournament like on 786? You know, did you see yourself, you know, like, hey, yeah, this is fun, I can grow with this team? Or was it more so like, yeah, okay, one-time gig, I don't think I'll do this again?
So that's tough. I think the first tournament, first tournament was probably a year after we started.
Okay.
2011, I believe, Minnesota.
Yes.
If I'm just correct me if I'm wrong. But Minnesota 2011, I believe. We go in 786ers.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember navy blue tracksuits.
Yep.
Vintage navy blue tracksuits.
Vintage, yes.
We had like 35 players.
Wow.
Yep. And it was, I would say, 90% family.
Holy shit.
It was insane. Like we were rolling deep in the airport, you know. We felt like it was like a field trip, you know. And Ali Remtullah was like the chaperone.
Exactly. And how did that tournament go for you guys? I know we played each other at some point. I actually have the video of that playing you guys. Because I remember in between the game, the second game, I believe, because I think you had to play back to back. It was a full round robin or half, you know, two pools, but you had to play everyone a best of two. And I believe in the middle of the second game, Ali Remtullah takes a timeout, goes to use the bathroom, and then comes back, and then 5 points later, fakes an injury to go to use the bathroom. So it's like Ali Remtullah, you're a little old there, brother.
Oh, but Ali, give me 3 balls before the game.
Yeah,
don't forget, give me 3. I need to calibrate. You know, Ali was the man. Ali's the man.
Yeah, how did that tournament go? Like, was it like was it enjoyable?
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was fun. It was. I think for us, it was like just an experience of like seeing what this was all about. Right. We didn't see much. We, like a lot of the guys, just like myself, came in fresh.
Yeah.
Right. So that was our first way to kind of like see what was happening, see what this game was all about. Right.
Exactly.
There's one notable thing from 2011, I would say personally, was finals, Minnesota. I don't remember who they were playing. It was in the Moss Gym.
Orlando. Yeah, Orlando.
Okay. So that matchup, what I saw there was Imran Walji.
Yeah.
And that's, I never told him this. I never told him, but that's kind of like where I started to change my perspective on volleyball.
Wow.
You know, where it's something about him was he was so fundamental.
Yeah, super.
You know, it's like, and he still is.
Yeah.
So when I see someone get a lift, it could be in 3 different spots.
Right.
But he's able to get his footwork in such a way and square his body up that he could hit the same ball, the exact ball that he wanted to off of anything.
Yeah.
And it would have the same impact, right?
That's true. True.
So
Imran Nasser, very much like Tim Duncan, right? Like very fundamental and very quiet, right? Like silent assassin, don't know what he's doing, don't know what he's thinking. You can never gauge him. You can never understand if he's into it, if he's not, if he's upset, if he's not. And I think that's what made him so frustratingly pleasant to play with, right? Or play against, right?
I see a lot of similarities. Yeah, sorry. I see a lot of similarities between him and Uzi.
Yeah,
You
Lambada's the
know,
same way.
it's like it's a very
Lambada's,
similar kind of player, you know, in terms of like the
yes.
mentality and the skill
Yeah.
set.
Very even
Um,
keel throughout the entire process.
exactly,
Yeah, it's
exactly. Like he's
100%.
so yeah, Imran Walji, shout out to him. He's a crazy player. I'm excited to play against him this time around.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
yeah.
yeah, that was our first tournament. That's kind of how
And
it went.
and and you started off in the front center. Am I right?
So I actually started off on the front right.
Right. Okay.
I started off on the front right. I think it
Mm-hmm.
was more so for like defensive
Mm-hmm.
purposes.
Right. Right. Exactly.
More people were getting hit up on that side.
Right. 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 And
Also
then
keep
when
in mind, like players weren't hitting all over the place as much of that time. It was,
right.
like front
Exactly.
right. From what I remember was like you're getting hit up
Every time. It
every
was everyone's
time.
strong side. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's
Exactly.
kind of like that's where I started. That's where I started.
And what makes you come, like, does Ali Ramtullah come to you and tell you, okay, I need you in the front center now? Is that, or gradually in practice you're learning to play front center?
Yeah. I think the front center thing happened. Yeah, through practice.
Yeah.
I don't know. There came a point where I was taught to play like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Or like just put the ball inside, put your hands on the side of your body and
Yeah.
hit the
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So naturally, I was doing it. I was like, I'm a righty.
Right.
I'm a righty.
Right.
So we get into practice, and all of a sudden, I'm getting hit up on my left side. I'm like,
right.
wait a second, let me just do this.
So you're not ambidextrous usually.
No,
so
I play a few sports with my left. But stick sports.
So like softball. What do you do?
I'm a lefty hitter. I'm a righty thrower.
No way.
I write with my right, but I play baseball, hockey with my left.
Wow, so you are ambidextrous. It makes total sense because that's what kind of separates you from a lot of players, right? Is that people know Imran Nasser is ambidextrous, and so that you can take the ball with your left and right, and it's kind of the same impact on both ways, right?
It's different, but it's you could get a different result, but it's kind of the same thing, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, no, and that's true, and I guess for a front center, that's perfect role. I think in 2013 is when really like 786 starts to make a splash. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I forgot who you guys play in the quarters. I want to say RKs, but I know that we end up meeting you guys in the semis. New York does. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to lie to you. When you guys were playing arcades, we were hoping and praying that you would beat them because we hated playing arcades. They always had our number, right? But we get to play 786, and this 786 had Nads on it.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So a very good showing. Get to the semifinals in a very big tournament like New York. You have Ali, you have yourself, you have Nads. What got Nads out of retirement? I mean, because Nads, Nadim left the sport for a very long time, kind of went away, had a back problem. We'd always try to pull him back. I think the last time we had seen him since that 2013 tournament was, before that 2013 tournament was in 2009, I believe. He played with a bunch of Orlando guys, and they had that Fab Five team where they kind of only 5 of those guys. But you get, or somebody gets Nads out of retirement, and you guys make a run. Who was behind all that? Who got him to come on? And what was that all about?
Yeah. So okay, Nads. So Nads is Nads, bro. He's one of the boys, right?
Yeah.
Super tight with him. All the guys on the team at that time, like he was part of our circle, right?
Right.
So I want to say that when we started, we tried to convince him to come on board right off the bat. Right. Yo, we're coming. You better come.
Yeah.
You know how to play. We don't know how to play.
Exactly.
There's no excuse.
Right.
I don't think he was having that. Right. So I think after we played Minnesota, we realized like we need some leadership, some more people that kind of like knew the game, knew how to play already.
Yeah.
We were very fresh. And it was too many of us that were fresh.
Exactly.
Right. So the experience he's a vet, right?
Yeah.
And a strong player.
Yeah. Been through the trenches, knows how to hit the ball, can get you points, right? Like
you need first, like, or one of, at least from what I know, I could be wrong, one of the first jump hitters.
Yes. Agreed.
So he started coming to practice with us. Now, from what I remember is he used to come through here and there, but he wasn't committing to playing with us, like committing to actually like, hey, I'm in for every tournament,
Right.
But he came around with us to New York, and that was hype. That was hype for sure. Who did you say we played in? We played
You
someone
played in the quarters.
quarters.
You played against RKs in the
Arcade.
quarters.
And, yeah. And Arcade somehow, like, I don't know why, but it's one of those teams that we were able to beat regularly.
Yeah, you had the number for the most part. Yeah,
we had the number, I think. We did.
Yeah.
But New York was like, that was the start of something that never ended.
Yeah.
We could not beat you. We never beat you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was like, that was the start of that.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was so funny because I remember that semifinal. I was young. I had just started playing back center maybe a year and a half before that. My first tournament as back center was 2011 as well. So I'm playing against Nads, right? And it's like Nadim, the kid I watched growing up, has back in volleyball. So there was a little bit of like jitters, and Nads would use like sport time. If you remember, like the ceiling is so high.
Yeah.
And so Nads randomly would do these things to like frustrate you as a player, especially as a back center. He'd hit the ball super high to you, right? Just to kind of get you like, oh my God, I just want to hit it. And so I remember that in that semifinal, he hits a ball like that to me. And I had watched you guys playing throughout because I loved watching 786. I love watching you. I love watching Ali. I love watching Nads and all the young guys. Because you guys very much were like us, right? Like, like just young guys trying to make it and trying to do something special. And so we'd always watch you guys. And I'd seen Nads do that to so many teams. And those teams would get frustrated and hit the ball into the net, hit the ball out. They take that ball and just try to whale it. So when Nads did it to me, I just said, you know what? I'm going to give it right back to you. So I did the same exact thing to him. And it was like, he started laughing, right? Because that's how Nads is. He's enjoying his time on the court. You make that semifinal run. And do you come back like, yo, we can do this. We got the team. Like, we just made the semis. We were young, but we still made the semis. We can make a championship run.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. We, at least this is my perspective, right? I feel like we still weren't there. That we didn't have the pieces necessary to go all the way at that point, but we were on the right track. So like, I just noted down some names. Like, we've had so many variations of teams, like it's just like, it's so hard to remember. So I had to go back and watch some videos and figure out who was where. So around that time, we had myself, and I'm just going to name a few guys. Myself, Riaz, Ershad Ali Muhammad, so one of my cousins there. Abbas Nasser. We had Adil, and then we had Marhum Suhel. He was there. So that was kind of like Ali Remtul and Nads. Okay. Right. So we had the experience. We had young bodies.
Right.
We kind of had something working, but I felt like we needed still some more.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is that in Toronto, you can't get players if you're a team like 786ers.
Right. Exactly.
Can't get players.
Right.
So there was like that. Thank God Nads said yes at that point, because that's a huge get for us.
Of course.
Right. Like, that's massive. There's no more Nads in Toronto for us.
Yeah, they're all playing for other teams.
And if they're not, they're going to.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Like, realistically speaking, we didn't have a reason for people to want to come.
100%. I get
we weren't there yet,
Small market, right? Exactly.
It is what it is, man. We had what we had, and we're like, yo.
And I think that's what made you guys so much fun, like so cool to watch. A couple of basketball guys, a couple of guys that never played the sport, now playing the sport. And then, under the tutelage of like someone like Ali Remtullah, who had won so many tournaments with Jaffrey's, right? And then you get Nads out of retirement. You guys were the cool kids, right? Like, you guys were cool. Like, you guys were different. You guys were like, okay, can these guys really do it? And then you guys were doing it. And people were like, yo, we can get behind this. And I think you're right. In a state of volleyball at that time in Toronto, because now Toronto is very much condensed to a couple of teams, right? But back then, it was Faisal was still there, right? So there was North, Stars was there / Toronto Union, whichever Thurab decided to be that year, he was that guy, right? And then you had Arcades, and they were still like up and running and top notch, right? You had Jaffrey's, and then you had 786. So you're right, you're like at the bottom of the barrel in terms of choice, and people are like, or in terms of options, and people are like, you're not going to make that your first choice if you're getting a chance to play with other people on other teams. And those teams have aspirations of winning championships. You guys have, you guys look like you're in a rebuild a little bit, right? Like, you're trying to figure it out. And I think you're right. I think at that time, maybe, right matchup worked out. You beat Arcades, you got into the semis, maybe a little bit of fluke, a little bit of luck, but hey, that's how it is. That's how it works out. A few months later at the Arcades tournament, you guys face off against Jaffrey's in the quarterfinal. That doesn't go as planned, but at least you make the quarters. Deflated, or like you said, like you kind of knew that was coming because you just got to the semis, you lost in the quarters. You understood that was part of the path, right? It was going to be like this for a while.
Yeah. No, that was coming. That was I didn't take that loss too bad. I like you can live with that one. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
You're going into the quarters, you're a young team, you're kind of new, you're playing against Joffrey's.
Yeah.
They don't lose.
Exactly.
They don't, and they're not gonna lose to us.
Exactly.
At that point, that's what it was, you know. I think we could just we just let that one slide, kind of.
Exactly. You know? Exactly. 2014 is a little bit of, that's when the growing pains come through, right? You get stuck in that rebuild time where if you notice, Van City's similar in that sense, right? A quarterfinal in 2014, our case, a year out, quarterfinal in New York, and then a string of quarterfinal losses, like in our case again in 2015. Did that process, did it give you more hunger, or did it really test your patience? Because you were like, you were very successful in volleyball, in basketball, and you did a lot of good things there, and you knew what your capabilities were. Here, it's almost like, damn, man, like, are we ever gonna get over this hump?
Yeah. So when I was coming back and looking at like this kind of timeline that we built, I call like 2014 to 2015 is like the shift.
Yeah.
This is when things kind of change a little bit, It starts kind of shifting from Ali to me a little bit more.
Right.
And I pushed for that.
Oh, you did?
Because, I pushed for that. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of just, like kind of a thing where like you were assigned, or Ali was kind of in and out. How does that happen?
No, I mean, not in a bad way,
Yeah, just
not in a way of like I don't think I tried to push him out or anything like that. It was more so like, bro, we're getting smashed.
We're in a rut. Yeah, we're in a rut.
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Let's figure something out.
Right.
Let's just change it. Like, even if it doesn't work, let's try something different. Give me a shot.
Yeah. Sometimes a new leader, new guy, different vibes. It changes a team's mentality.
We got a bunch of young guys who are in kind of my age category. We're going to these tournaments. We're watching other young guys make these runs, and we're looking at them like, yo, what makes that guy different than us?
Exactly.
How come he can do it but we can't? So like
this is like exactly the prime where Rob wins it all of 2013. Orlando's winning 2014, and like you guys are probably same thing with me. I was sitting there like, dude, why can't I do that?
That's what I'm saying, and I'm like, bro, if I could beat this guy's ass at basketball, why can't I do it here?
Exactly.
And I'm telling my guys, I'm like, you guys, like, it's all the same. It's all the same. We're athletes, or at least we like to call ourselves athletes.
Right. Yes.
So let's try and make some noise here. But what really happened so 2015 New York tournament. This is kind of I think where the shift starts happening.
Okay.
Shortly after that, so we took a loss in that tournament. Shortly after that is when Suhail passed away.
Okay.
We can recite a Surah Fatiha for him.
Yes, please. Yes.
So Suhail was the fiend, the volleyball fiend.
Really?
He was out of every single player I've ever played with in my life.
Right.
And I'm saying Throb too. Wow. In terms of like how much they feed.
You already got me there. Yeah.
This guy was on another level.
Right.
He was on another level. So he loved this. He loved this so much. I remember he used to go to like his first tournament. He got so nervous. Mid-game, runs to the washroom, yaks.
No way.
Like he just couldn't. Like he was so excited and like he didn't really know, what.
Yeah, he was anxious.
He was anxious. I took off my jersey. I ran after him in the washroom, took off my jersey, threw him on. I'm like, yo, get back out there. So he goes out there. He continues.
That's crazy, man. That's awesome.
So that was a big loss for us.
Yeah,
obviously. At the same time as that, Nads goes down with injury.
Yeah,
and Ali Remtola is on and off with injury as well.
Right.
So this is the shift.
Okay.
Right. This is where we're coming into practice now with the young dudes. Right. We have like Scooter. I don't know if you remember.
I remember Scooter. Yeah.
Dinky.
Yes, Dinky. Of course. Okay.
Airshot. Khalil Qasim. We had Khalil Qasim for.
Qasim was there for a while. Yeah. Shaq was there for a while.
We had Shaq. We had Adil. We had Riaz.
Yeah.
I don't think Swaggy and Rye came yet.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think Swagger was there yet.
That was a bit later. Or they may have been in the mix at that point.
Yeah.
But not up there yet.
Yeah,
they were still coming up.
Yeah.
So we had some guys, and we're like, this is the situation we're in.
Right.
We're not playing really anymore for anything other than Suhel. You know.
Yeah.
We had more to play for at that point. So we didn't care who we had. We literally didn't give a shit.
You're just like, we're just gonna do it.
Just do it, man.
So you become the captain at this time.
I become. We didn't really call ourselves like.
There was no title.
Nah, it was. But yeah, you know.
Yeah. You would set up practices and you would run the formations and make the timeouts and all that stuff. Right?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, that was pretty much that was me.
So this truly meant that you were falling in love with volleyball at that time. Like
100%.
You were in it. 100.
By now, I was in it. I was in it 100%. I was
and I think I think I want to touch on this later a little bit, but I at some point in that, when you're taking over or when you're becoming the captain and you're noticing obviously Nads is going down, Ali's going down, right? Like you don't have all the pieces that you did have. A part of you, was okay with, again, starting all over almost. You know what I'm saying? Like with Scooter and Dinky, like, was it okay in your mind? Like, hey, listen, I'm going to do it another way. Just, it's just going to take a little bit longer.
Yeah, no, that was cool. By that point, I wasn't frustrated. Yeah. Like I wasn't like giving, at a point where I wanted to give up or anything like that.
Exactly.
We had so much fight in us at that point.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention, but Mehdi was playing. So Suel's younger brother started playing at that time, a little bit before.
I remember. Yeah.
So like we had like some like really cool personalities on the team.
Yeah, you guys did. Yeah.
So I liked it.
Made you special.
That was I think for me, like that was a time frame that I really enjoyed a lot.
Yeah.
The come up kind of,
Yeah, exactly. You always like later on in your career, you sit back and go, that's what made me, right? Like those are the times that really truly tested me. And it was so much fun going through that, because even though maybe you take L's, but those L's were just 10 times better than anything else, that you were going through at the time. You start playing in the back now. Obviously you're taking over, you're playing in the back. How does that happen? Just naturally, as you're taking over, you're naturally putting yourself in a position to play in the back, learning the center, learning the right. Like, how does that transformation happen?
I think by that point, it was getting a little bit obvious, where it was like, I was able to pick it up, to a point where it was worth it to do, like, just play it, you can do it. Just do it. Exactly. And I wanted to do it, man. Like, bro, I wanted to come face you guys and
right. Exactly.
I could bang with you guys.
Exactly.
So I wanted that. I played a lot, bro. In that point of time, I played at least five times a week minimum.
Really?
I was all over the place, bro.
Oh, I didn't know that. Monday to Friday.
Wow.
So you were in it. You were trying to get better. You were trying to do what's right for your team and try to make sure that you're there at the top, right?
And I brought a lot of my guys were committed too. Like that group that we had at that point. Like, it was a very committed group, and we had a goal, and everyone was like on a mission.
Right.
And people were showing out, So
yeah, they were. Yeah.
That was, and around that time is when I remember doing practices. We had practices with Stars around then, but even before that, we practiced with Stars and with North.
Yes.
Right. So funny story with this Stars North 7A Sixers practice. Very random. Like you would think it'd be Stars North and like arcades.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it was like, it was our practice.
Right.
That was our gym.
Oh, wow.
Right. Okay. So we asked them to come out, and we're like, look, we got 2 hours. Let's play 3 teams. No time limit.
And they did it. They would come out just for 2 hours. I mean, those games could last forever, right?
But the key was their games were lasting.
Oh, you guys were getting asked out.
Yep. And we all knew what was going to happen.
Oh my God.
But we had to do it, Like,
yeah.
I think
you had to get that talent out there to play against, right? Like,
yeah, bro. Like that was huge, man. Like, shout out to Durab for that. And like Durab, Jabir, and Irfan were always there.
Yeah.
Those 3, they always showed up. Marhum Faisal and his boys, they showed out too. Like, I had just met Faisal probably around that time.
Right.
I probably talked to him like, yo, you're a G, man. Like, teach me some stuff, you know, this and that. He was sick, you know,
He
like
was sick, man. He was sick.
He would do that for anyone.
Yeah, anyone. Seriously,
You know?
he would. He would.
So so he used to mission it out Scarborough, I think, to Richmond Hill area on like a Monday night.
Oh man.
And yeah, we played 3 teams. I think 2-hour practice. 7-8-6ers got about 15 minutes total. I ain't even lying, bro.
That sucks, man. Yeah. I mean, but hey, you're right. Like, you got to get them out there. You get to play Faisal, you get to play Thurab. I mean, you get to play 2 top centers. It's only going to help your team get better, right? Like,
and even if we didn't play, we got to watch it.
Exactly. You learn so much by just watching it, right? So, and I mean, it kind of makes sense because Al Wahda happens 2015, right? Al Wahda 2015 is kind of one of those tournaments where you see magic a little bit, right? And I talk about this. In volleyball, you need some skill, but you also need some magic. And that's when you guys start to turn heads. Everyone starts to fall in love with 786. It's a new club. It's different. It's all these guys that are like, you know, and I'm not trying to put anybody down on 786. I love all those guys. I respect all of them. But it's almost like the guys that nobody wanted, right? They were like, hey, man, you know, like 786 was that club was like open arms, like come here, play here. Like, you know, your stars don't want you, arcades don't want you, you know. We're here for you, and you guys were open house. Everyone would be able to play. Everyone loved playing for you guys. Everyone would rock the 786, and you guys would have the sickest attire, sickest swag, and it was like a group of ragtag volleyball players that figured it out. They gutted it out. Yeah. They just stuck together. You never saw 786 separate. They were always together. They were always, you know, even when they were not playing, you're watching the games together. You know, you guys were just a close knit unit. And I think that's what made you guys so admirable and lovable to watch. You get your crack at playing center and you make your first final against the Jaffrey's team. And if anybody hasn't watched this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the video in a bit. But you play against a Jaffrey's team that had the likes of Imran Jiraj. Mojak was on that team. You know, Hussein Gigi's playing back center. You know, it was a young team with Hussein Gigi on it. And at some point in the final, you're playing the entire center. It is the last like 10 minutes, I believe, where you play the entire center to just try to make a comeback at that time. And you almost did. If anybody hasn't watched this video, put in 2015 Al Wahda 786 versus Jaffrey's and watch. If you're not going to watch the entire thing, watch the last 10 minutes. I'm telling you, you're going to be in awe of Imran Nasser. I mean, the guy just goes bonkers. He goes wild. And he's hitting the best balls you've seen, like lefty, righty. He comes all the way to the front, puts the ball in net for himself, comes all the way to the back, takes the ball. Like something that, you know, now you start to see the true potential of Imran Nasser, right? At that point, it's like the guy's a dog. He knows he's probably not good enough, or his team's not good enough to compete with these guys because they took all these stars on their team, but he's still fighting. His team's still fighting. It's funny, your rotation is so weird. Like, it's like this guy's covering this gap and this guy's covering this gap, but it's working, right? What was that time like, 2015 Al Wahda, being in that final? Like, was that the moment where you were like, you know what? I could do this, man. Like, I could go toe-to-toe with the best.
Yeah. Okay. So that final was obviously that was our first final. That was the furthest we've ever been.
Right.
However, it was a smaller tournament. But we didn't discount that because Toronto competition was very solid.
Exactly.
Right. So like you're still seeing more or less the same kind of caliber, you know.
100%.
So that was a big finals appearance for us. Okay. That was a big one, and that's the tournament that we were trying to win for Freshie. So if you don't know, so Suhel's nickname was Freshie. Right. That was the one, you know, like that one hurts.
It was there. The heart was there. You can see it.
It was there. It was there. We like, it just felt so right. We were at home.
Yeah.
His parents were there. Yeah. Our whole families were there.
Yeah.
His little brother was playing on the team. Wow. We had like 5 family members on the team.
Right.
And it was like, and we had his name on our back.
I know.
And that was like, that was it, you know.
Yeah, it just shows, man. It just shows.
And when the finals was going on, it was just adrenaline, bro. Like, I don't even know what happened, man. Like,
yo,
I look back and I'm like, yo, what?
When at the end of that video, you fall to the ground.
I dropped,
yeah, dude. You were spent. You were done. You were just like, you gave it your all. At any point during, like, while you're walking into that final, seeing the team that's across you, do you think you have a chance of beating Jaffrey's?
Yeah. That year.
That year, you thought it could happen.
Yeah, because we we thought at that point that we were reaching a level that we could sneak out a victory.
Right.
Not saying that we were the better team.
Right. Exactly.
Not saying we were as skilled at all.
I get your point.
We weren't, but this was enough. We thought it was enough to squeak one out.
Yeah.
And believe me, it was close. Like
it was.
There was one call. So the ref there, Migdad Jaffer.
Yes.
I didn't know him.
Oh, you did it at that time.
I didn't know him at the time.
Migdad Jaffer, the softball guy / golfer.
Yeah.
Somehow reffing a volleyball tournament. Migdad, if you're listening to this, I don't know why you're reffing a volleyball tournament.
Bro, I'm gonna send him this. Because I remind him of that like at least once a month.
Yeah. Well, possibly the worst ref too, because he doesn't give a shit. He's not gonna listen to anything you have to say.
Bro, I was trying to argue with him. He's
the worst guy to argue with. Yeah.
Like,
worst guy to argue with.
But yo, he like to this day now one of my best friends, right?
Yeah, I was sick.
Super tight with that guy.
I golf with him all the time. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, he's a really cool guy. But yeah, so there was a call. There was an out ball or something like that.
I heard about this call. Yes. Yeah, we all.
I don't remember exactly what happened. I remember it was important, and it probably lost us the tournament.
Probably. Yeah.
But at that point, like people got kicked out. Yes. Uncles were jumping off the stage.
Yes.
Like, you see like Monty and like
Josh they were all on your side corner. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
My cousin Asad on the sideline, just doing his thing.
Yeah. But that's it, man. That's that environment, right? Like that's that want and wanting to be a winner, and you guys show the fight.
That was the worst tournament that was the worst loss in any game I've ever played.
Really?
Because of the circumstance.
Right. Okay. I get it.
So that was the one that hurt the most.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Hands down.
But, I mean, look, if there is a true epitome of, there's a saying that I go by a lot, and I think someone like you would appreciate it, because I think you and I similar in our paths in what we try to accomplish with our teams. But and I live by this quote: it's hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And we see that with 786. I think people saw that with New York Union. I think people see that with Minnesota, because we couldn't acquire talent. We had to work within ourselves to make it happen. And sometimes, when you're in these finals, right, against much more talented teams, you have to hope that working hard will get you there. And sometimes you pull it off and sometimes you don't. And you live for the upsets. Everyone lives for the upsets. Everyone lived for the Rob beating Faisal, right? Everyone lived for what we're about to talk about in 2016, where Minnesota comes. You guys are now getting your mojo. You guys are now figuring out your team, and a lot of confidence, I'm sure, from Al Wahda, which I think took place in September. So right after that, the very next tournament was Minnesota, and I think the epitome of Imran Nasser's career, which isn't finished, it's only beginning again. But if everyone talks about Imran Nasser, they remember this one moment in time where I truly believe your nickname, which is the dog, now that we've officially, like, you are the Jimmy Butler of volleyball.
Oh, jeez.
I'm glad you're a Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy's fan. Not happy today, eh?
Not tampering, right? You get lucky enough in your quest to win in 2016 to get matched up against possibly the best team at that time, Orlando Union, in the quarterfinals. Folklore says that the night before your quarterfinal, and you can attest to this or tell me what the story truly is, you were at the pool or the hot tub at the hotel, and a couple of guys are asking you about your quarters. They're like, "Hey, man, you got to play Orlando. It's shit. That sucks. Blah 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 blah." And you said, "I'm not worried. We're gonna beat them." And naturally, like anybody is supposed to say that.
Yeah.
But people truly said that this dude believed it. Like he walked in there like he was gonna beat them the next morning. And you could see it in your eyes. You could see it in your teammates' eyes, who I think they looked at you and they were like, dude, this guy thinks we're gonna win. Like, for real. He's trying to bring down. And I want to say it was 8-1, like one verse 8. I don't know if it was 2 verse 7.
It was 1-8. It was
1-8, right? So like the most improbable of things. And first of all, tell me, is this story true? Or, if you can give me any more information, that would be great.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about that quarterfinal for a second. First, let's talk about. Tell me about the story.
So the story's true. Okay. Story's true. 100% true. I remember being in the pool hot tub area. We're all chilling. I think it was us and Stars.
Stars, right.
It was us and Stars. I just for some reason remember Comex being there and
you got Comex. Yeah. Comex usually always there.
Just the classic, you know, classic Comex.
Classic Comex.
But yeah, we had our boys there, and I think Darab was asking, or you know, some of these guys are like, "Oh man, I can't believe you drew Orlando and blah blah blah." And you know, some of our guys looked a little bit down.
Yeah, right.
And we just came off of finals, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
We just came off of finals.
Exactly.
So I'm like, bro, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like, what did you see what we just did?
Yeah.
You know, and we got a squad like comparable. I mean, to what we had last time. It was very similar.
Yeah.
So we knew this team could pull some games, right? So for me, it was like, we ain't losing. Right. It's not happening. Yeah, we're not losing. Simple. We're not losing.
Your teammates look at you a little funny, or they believe in it?
Okay, so Adil's kind of like that actual dog.
He is.
He's like the one behind it, you know. Yeah. When he was around playing with us, he gave us that confidence to like, don't care about anything. Right. You know, just don't care. Like, get on the court, see who you see, and murk them. Simple. Yeah. Just do what you got to do. So I had that mentality. Going in, but some of our guys, like we had like Scooter and Dinky and Rye. Yeah. These are newer guys. Yeah. That are coming up. Swaggy. Yeah. Newer guys coming Swaggy up. Was there, big time. Not much confidence with these guys, right? Swaggy was with us in Al Wahda. Yes. Rye was with us in Al Wahda. Scooter was not. So Scooter was super shaky.
Well, yes, he was super shaky. He was.
And he didn't have too much confidence at the time anyways. Now we're going up against Orlando, and it's like, all right, whatever. Let's give these guys some confidence. Yo, guys, we're winning that game tomorrow. I promise. Yeah. We ain't losing. Don't worry. Sleep well, right? Get onto the court, and we won, I think, game 1 and 3, right?
Yeah, 1 and 3. Yeah.
1 and 3. So that first game, we get into the huddle, and Adil goes, guys, choose a player. And so like someone's like, I don't know, like Scooter. Right. And I was like, no, from the other team.
On the other side.
I'm like, what do you mean choose a player? Right. Like, you want us to choose a player and we'll hit them, right? Yeah. Like, that's the plan. Yeah. Like, no. Tell me one of these guys' names. And like, some of us are like, we don't know these guys' names. Yeah, like, exactly. We don't even know many of these guys. Yeah. So someone says, yo, MZ sounds nice. Yeah, it does sound nice, you know, like it had a ring to it. It was nothing about MZ himself. Right. He was a sick player. Amazing. And he played sick in that game.
He did.
But we came out of that timeout, and we made people so confused.
You were just chanting.
We just started chanting MZ.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. The game didn't even start, I don't think.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like surreal.
And Adil said, he was telling us, he's like, we're gonna chant this kid's name. And then we're gonna serve it to him. Right. And we're gonna pound this guy till we get a point. Right. I don't care how long it takes. Right. But when we get that point, we're rushing.
Yeah.
You know? And that's how we're gonna set the tone. Yeah. And we're gonna like, not that we're gonna scare them. No. But we're gonna confuse them to a point where they're gonna be so shook.
Yeah. They're gonna be like,
what in the world is going on right now?
Happening? Yeah. What is happening?
And I think that definitely shook them up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure. The confidence, you see a team like that, just the confidence scares you.
Yeah, and it's like, you're always scared of the underdog.
Always.
And then when you get an underdog with confidence,
no, it's the worst.
Like a team that literally does not give a shit.
Exactly. The worst.
The worst possible thing. So
you had Adil Jaffer in your back left, and you had Adil has a nickname, doesn't he?
No, I think Adil
AJ. There was somebody else on the team. I can't remember who.
We had Taha.
Yes.
We had Taha.
So Taha was playing back right. Adil was playing back left. Yep. And I remember every time Adil returned the ball. And mind you, Adil was a netty. I mean, everyone who remembers watching Adil when he was younger, he was United Stars netty for a while. I think he played with a couple of other teams.
Arcades, yeah.
The Arcades. The sickest lift. I mean, so sexy, right? One-handed, like right at the floor. I mean, so much swagger in his game. And now he's playing back left, and you're kind of like, that's the guy, right? Because I remember me talking to some of the Orlando guys, and we're like, you know, I was friends with them, and they're like, dude, that's a netty back there. Like, we got it. Like, that's got to be the guy. And dude was returning everything. And I remember every time he would return, he would just get so hyped.
So hyped, bro.
And like, it was like amazing to watch, man. And
that was so fire, man. After that win, I had some of my players come up to me and be like, listen, bro, this is the first time someone said my name. Like,
yeah, yes,
like
yes.
people are right now, people are talking to me like
100%.
they're calling me by my nickname, you know, like
it's
this
crazy.
is sick, you know. So these guys, like, they were getting put on at that point.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
for sure.
You know,
when you guys win that quarterfinal, I remember like the very next tournament, I'm not jumping, I'm just telling you, like, you're so right, because the very next tournament or sometime down the road, there was a tournament and I think Scooter tears his ACL at some point, right? And so naturally, right before tournaments, you know, people talk and everyone's talking, oh, what team's going to be good? And, blah, blah, blah. And I remember everyone talking about 786. Yo, don't sleep on 786 now. They just beat Orlando. They just beat Orlando. And people would be like, well, but they don't got Scooter though. Like, we didn't know Scooter. We didn't know Scooter 3 months ago. Now all of a sudden,
nobody knows. Nobody knew this guy.
Now everyone knows Scooter. Now everyone knows he tore his ACL, where he got his surgery. Everyone knows everything about the guy. You know how long his rehab's gonna be. Like, shit, man. Like,
that's what it was, man. That's what we wanted.
Made your mark. You made.
That's what we wanted. That was the whole point of this. You know, like, we wanted these players who didn't have that name and who couldn't get that name. To be able to come into these tournaments and make one for themselves. Right. And I think this little run we had, like, it put on Swaggy. It put on Rye, put on Scooter, put on Dinky. Like guys like Mehdi and it's just like, these are names that now people who are around at that time who are watching, like, they'll remember those guys, you know?
Exactly. They'll always remember that team. They'll always remember that team.
And Riaz is so random, because I swear he's the most perfect, like, player that you could have on a team.
Perfect.
It's like, he's just always there.
He's a glue guy, man. He's a glue guy.
Yeah.
You need
but he's always in the right spot.
Yeah, always.
You know, the ball could be going to the right, and he digs it out of the corner. All of a sudden, he's picking one up on the other side.
On the left. Yeah, exactly.
He just follows things, you know. So
exactly.
Yeah, that was a sick team. That was a sick tournament.
When you win the first game, then lose the second game, the steam doesn't run out though. Like, you guys don't run out of steam. You guys are so confident still. Like, it's okay. You know, a lot of teams, like, they'll win the first game just out of it's the morning. They're hyped. Okay, fine. Second time they get you. Second game they get you. Third, usually the third game the better team wins, and they've already deflated you in the second game. You guys weren't deflated. You guys came out third game. I think third game you actually whooped them, and it was kind of like, it wasn't that close. You win that quarterfinal. Obviously, everyone's excited, sense of confidence, and you get to play us, right? Yes. So a team that's not in the tier of Orlando Union, a team very much similar like you, and you probably think this is our chance. We can do this again and get to the final.
Yeah, you know, with you guys, I think with our team, the Orlando matchup worked out well, because we were we were better at playing slower.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of our guys had a hard time when the game started speeding up.
Right.
So this allowed us to control it, and we were able, like, against Orlando, we were able to play more of a defensive game.
Exactly.
You'll notice there was not much hitting.
No, there wasn't. It was just very, you know,
I don't
side
think
side to side, long rallies.
Exactly. And we just frustrated them. But when we came up to you guys, I kind of knew this is not really going to be a good matchup for us. You were firing, like, you were.
Yeah, and then we had Z that tournament. Z
had Z too. Yeah, Z was very tough for us, and you were tough.
Fire that tournament.
The support, you guys had the support. Like, I don't think it was even close.
Yeah, it was too straight. And to be honest, at one point, and it was no offense to you guys, it was just like, we were so tensed up playing you guys. We were like, yo, dude, like, they just beat Orlando. They're gonna look at us like we're chump change, right? And it kind of came easy. And at one point, we're like, dude, I think it's just a matchup. The matchup doesn't bode well for you guys. Yeah. We sped up the game so much that you were so used to playing a slower team just for 3 games straight. Now the speed's kind of, you know, it's different. It's a different matchup. And you know, they say styles make fights, right? So, you know, it is one of those things, right? Like, the style didn't clash, and so the styles clashed, and unfortunately we ended up, well, fortunately for me, but unfortunately for you guys, we ended up taking the 2 straight. We won. I mean, we get banged in the court in the semifinal, in the finals against RK, so it doesn't really truly matter. But
we were probably thinking like, damn, man, if we got through, we had RK's number.
Exactly.
But no, to be honest, when we finished with Orlando, I think that was it. Like, that was our win.
Yeah.
That was our final.
Yeah,
I think that was our final.
That was it. You made your mark, right? Like,
we did our thing. We kind of.
A lot of upsets. If you watch upsets in volleyball, like, people talk about the Jaxie upset, the New York B upset against Durab in the round of 16. People talk about random upsets like that. if it's a 1-game upset, it's kind of, you can chalk it up to chance.
Yeah.
When you take a team to 3 games, that's why we play best of 3s, right? Like the 3 games is where the better team usually wins. And on that morning, you guys pulled it off in 3 games, which was amazing. And you're right, that was the win.
Yeah.
I know you said you weren't as disappointed, but disappointing a little bit to not have gone further and after winning such a amazing match in the morning.
Yeah, I think disappointing, but not, but also no. Like we were happy.
Yeah,
I was happy. I was pretty happy, to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was pretty. That was a good tournament. My boy, like all the whole team was vibing. Like, you know, people were happy. We had Comex. Like, well, you can't go wrong. Like,
yeah, you're right.
Things were good at that point. So that was okay. We still had a shot. You know, continue doing this.
Exactly. Right? The fire comes back, and now everyone's like, okay, wait, we're working towards something, and it's working.
It's working. That's the main thing, is that what we're doing is working.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. 2016 RK shortly thereafter, I believe a quarterfinal exit for you guys. I think there was a TVC tournament that year or something. And it was a couple of small tournaments, but then, you know, 2017 hits, and I think that's another phase and another chapter in your guys' story where we once again see 786 now back is Nads.
Yes.
Nads is back in the fold.
Yep.
Your team is looking good. You got the pieces. Everything's looking fire. I mean, we go to Vancouver, and I want to be honest. I think we were talking about the teams there. The dream team was at that time when we had created the dream team, and we were talking about like who's going to give us the toughest time. And I think a couple of us were talking, and obviously names like, you know, I think there was a Imran Walji team with Abbas Kimji. I think there was a couple of other random teams, Vancouver themselves with Darab. Like those guys will give us a tough time. But I think for me, it was always like, yo, 786, man. Like I always I know what you guys were thinking. Like this is this is like what you guys want. You want to play the best team and then take them down, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, if I'm scared of any team, it's gonna be 786.
And we live for that, man, because we were used to it.
Exactly.
So we embraced that.
We end up playing you guys in the final, but we played you in the round robin. The round robin.
You guys went undefeated. You guys went undefeated the entire tournament. That team, bro. I was watching that game, just to like jog my memory of who was on the court at that time. Bro, unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best teams, the best team I ever played for in my life.
Best team I've probably ever seen on a court together.
When we end up playing you guys in the round robin, the sun plays a factor, I think. In it.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are starting to get at us, and I think that was the closest game. The closest game I think we had all tournament was against you guys in the round robin. And that's when I was like, I'm telling you guys, this is the team we don't want to face. We end up facing you in the final. 16-0 at this point, like just riding through the final. Assumption everyone is that, you know what, they'll win 2 straight here and they'll be undefeated and win a tournament. And we take game 1. You guys take game 2. And that's when everyone's like, wait a second. it's going to come down to 1 game. Like, it's a possibility that 786 does this again. And mind you, that front line, which was the Orlando front line, had just faced you a year before, and you've already upset them. So they're already in the back of their mind. They're like, shit, man, this guy's back. He's back for more this time. Tell me about that 2017 Dream Team tournament. That Vancouver tournament, playing against the Dream Team in the final. I know you did crazy stuff like put my Uncle Riz on the line, and I was like, dude, this guy showed up in like the last day, and I'm like, how is he playing? Like, what? Like, and he took a couple of balls in the final. I know, like,
hit down the line. Took some Z spikes.
Some Z spikes. What was that? What was that experience like? Swaggy balled out that tournament. I think he won best netty.
Best netty. Yeah.
What was
Swaggy
that?
By that time, Swaggy was already up.
Yeah,
he was already up in the ranks.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a sick one. We had me, Nads, Riaz. Mehdi, Nasser, Abbas Rai, Khalil Qasim, Swaggy, and Comex.
Yeah.
Swaggy and Comex. So that was a squad.
Yeah.
And I don't think, like, we had a pretty good round robin. Like, there was one Vancouver team, I think, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
So that was probably one of our like good wins throughout the round robin. It made us, it got us going, kind of thing. It made us realize like, yo, we got a team that can do this. You guys were kind of like, it was unstoppable, man. But we just had to give it a shot.
Yeah. Nothing to lose, right?
But that tournament was not my tournament. That was Nad's.
Yeah, Nad's played amazing.
That was Nad's, bro. Like,
yeah,
that was his tournament. He carried us. He carried us the whole way. And I have a video clip of him. I don't know if you know what I'm gonna say.
No, I don't.
But it's of him hitting you a ball.
Okay.
From the back. He was on the back right. And this guy jumps and hits one to you. Swerve to the side, drop, lift, chest, side.
No way.
Okay, maybe not chest. Maybe like in the middle of your arms.
Yeah, probably, yeah, for sure.
And off the side, and I was like, sure. Damn, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it, man. Nad's Nad's, bro. Special. That hop step he had. I mean, nasty. You can tell that tournament he felt it. He was on, and you guys wanted to prove something, right? And you did. Yeah. Even winning that one game, right? Like you did. You again proved that, listen, like, anybody can do it, right? Like, you guys had built something special, and you guys, can legit put guys anywhere, right? And it's gonna work. Yeah. It's a system, right?
Just like you said, we came off of upsetting Orlando. We called up Nads right away, like, hey, bro, we got the formula. Yeah, we got a spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Look what we did with Taha. You want to play in that spot? It's open.
Exactly.
So he came, and I think that would have been a nice one to win, obviously.
Obviously.
But the losing streak continues.
Yeah. Story of our lives, right?
And it does not stop.
Yeah. You carry, though, that momentum into Al Wahda, where we get the matchup of a lifetime at that time. Yeah. Obviously, I had come to Toronto a lot. I had come to your practices with Stars. It was always great watching, you guys, Stars and 786 go at it. And truly, if you talk to Thurab, he'll tell you, when he was playing North a lot during his Toronto Union, early United Stars days, that's what made his team better. Yeah. And I think you guys playing Stars a lot made your team better, right?
100%.
So naturally, those practices, man, I used to come to those practices like, shit, man, 786, they're playing, like they're up there now, like. And I think that carried on and to a matchup in the semifinals against Stars. Yeah. We're playing Jaffrey's on one side. We take him to 3 games. We end up losing. On this side, we already know that Stars is playing 786. He plays them in practice all the time. He has their number. He's going to figure it out. 2 straight, move on, Jaffrey Stars finals, which is what everybody wanted, right? And I think he had Mehdi Kaku that tournament.
Yes.
and that is when you take down Stars at Bathurst, mind you, where Stars, that's their home court, right? An amazing series. And funny, and I'm gonna mention a story before I let you talk about that semifinal. The round robin, the last game of the night on Saturday, Imran Ibrahim is running the schedule. And he says, listen, guys, we're kind of running out of time. We're tired. You guys are tired. 786 is tired. And he's like, it was like they need to win by 20 or 18 or something. They were, yes. He tells us, listen, he tells you and us, he's like, listen, Imran, you got to win by 18 for a point differential to even come above these guys.
Yeah.
And if you don't win by 18, you're playing Jaffrey's tomorrow morning. You're playing someone else in the quarterfinal, and these guys are playing someone else in the quarterfinal. And the road would then lead to us playing Stars in the semis and you playing Jaffrey's in the semis. That's what it would happen. We would have swapped.
Yep.
If you beat us by 18 or more. And you looked at them like, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, guys. And I was like, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen either. So I was like, yo, you want to give us a bye? And he's like, you're like, yeah, I really don't mind. Like, sure, whatever. Like, I'm kind of tired. And then you take a couple of steps. You turn around and you're like, let's play. And I'm like, nah, dude, nah. Like, why are you doing this? Like, no, we don't want to, like, let's not play. Let's go home. You're not going to beat us by 18, brother. And you're like, yeah, but let's just play. We came all the way out here. We don't get to play you guys. Let's just play. I'm like, all right, let's play. And I think you beat us 21-3 or something, 21-2, and demolished us. Take our seed.
I forgot about that. Forgot about that.
I don't know if it was 18. I think it was 12, 14, something. It was a crazy number. It was an absurd number in a game of 16 or a game of 21. It was like you had to score. We had to be at 2, right? I just remember that. I remember us scoring 2 points, and you guys wipe us, take our spot, end up playing a quarterfinal against one team. We had take your spot, We now are the 4th seed playing Jaffrey's, who were the 1st seed. You're the 3rd seed playing Stars, who were the 2nd seed, and you get the semifinal matchup. So if you really look at it, if that never happened, maybe this semifinal would have never happened.
Yep.
If you had just walked away and gave us the bye, this moment in time would have probably never happened, but yet you got your chance to play against Stars. Tell me about that semifinal. Did you truly believe coming into that semifinal? I know you always believe, and that's why you are who you are.
Yeah, I think, okay, so Stars is tricky because we see them so much, right?
Exactly.
So do I think we were going to win? Yeah, I knew we had a chance to win because we have beaten them in practice.
Right.
It's not like we were running, like we can't split with them any given day. It's not happening. But we could pull a game.
Yeah.
We could pull a game of practice, here and there, if they bring more than 3 people or less. So, bro, we used to play Stars, and I told Dharav, I'm like, man, yo, come through for us, like, come play with us. It helps us a lot when you come. He's like, all right, I got you. So he shows up and he's like, yo, I'm sorry, man, but I can only pull 3 guys, me and 2 others.
Holy shit.
I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Really?
And he beat us. Wax us with 3.
Wow. He would tell me these stories, but I never believed him.
And then and my guys were getting pissed, bro, because they're like, yo, we got 10 guys here. We got 3.
Yeah.
Let's take 3 of our people and
put them there. Yeah.
No. Our win right now is going to be that next week they're going to come with 4.
Exactly.
And then 5. And when we get them to 6, that number is going to tell us we can compete.
100%.
And it did slowly but surely start happening, like we were able to hold a practice down against these guys,
right?
At least make it fun.
Exactly. Competitive.
But it would be competitive.
Yeah.
So we knew going in that we had a shot.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want to play them in, like, I don't think they wanted to play us.
Right. Exactly.
We know each other so well, and
see each other every week. Yeah,
and we get along. Like, we don't want to knock each other out.
Exactly.
Right? But it is what it is. Did what we had to do.
Did what you had to do.
Got to where we needed to get to.
Yeah. Get to the final against Jaffrey's again.
Yeah.
This time, did you think, like, okay, you know what? We played these guys in the final a couple of years ago in Al-Wada. Our team is hot. Back-to-back finals now. We've had upsets in 2016. Almost took down the dream team. This is going to be the time. This is going to be our time.
I think. Okay, so I don't remember the game, that specific game, for some reason. That final, I don't remember it at all, because when I think of that tournament, I think of the previous one,
the 2015 one, right?
Yeah. This one, for some reason, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So kind of drawing a blank on that, but I think matching up with Jaffrey's and New York were 2 teams that were really tough for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you one of those things again.
You kind of know, like, exactly.
You kind of know, and it sucks, but it leads us towards kind of like the run fizzling out for 786 at this point.
Right.
2018
hits New York. Yeah. Everyone's talking about 786 because 786 has come from 2015 final, 2016 upset, 2017 final, 2017 final again. 2018 New York is like, okay, this is the team now. This is going to be the guys that are going to come and make the semis, make the finals. I mean, obviously, I think that 2018 New York tournament had like 24 teams, right? But, you still knew that 786 was going to be a contender. And I remember when we were making the pools and we were making tiers, and I think Bode made the tiers and made the pools, we were putting you guys up there as, like, the top guys. Like, this is the team that's going to be the surprise team. And unfortunately, it doesn't go the way you want. It was a rough tournament. I almost, because I told you, I always watch 786 games, and it wasn't a shot at your team or anything at all, but you can just tell when a team has it or when they don't. In 2018, like, for example, 2019 Minnesota, I knew our New York Union team didn't have it. We lost to Stanmore in the quarters. Like, it was one of those tournaments that, like, you just don't feel it. You just know. I saw frustration in your face. I know things not going your way. Sometimes the ball, it has to roll your way, and it wasn't. What was that tournament like? Was it truly like one of the toughest times for you guys?
I think 2018 New York was probably our breaking point.
Yeah.
Where prior to that, we had lost Scooter with an injury.
Yeah.
A lot of our young guys went to college or university.
Right.
People dropped out. People just started dipping. Like, you lose. You take a lot of losses.
Yeah.
Granted, we went far quite a bit, but there was a lot of losses, but we never won.
Yeah,
So,
it sucks. Yeah, it
now
takes a
we're
toll,
talking
man.
about
It takes a toll.
2011 to 18, so 7, 8 years without a dub.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
tough, man.
it's
We were
hard.
reaching that point where it's like,
Is it ever
I
gonna
don't
happen?
know, man. I
Yeah,
don't think
no.
this is happening anymore. And the vibe was kind of slipping off, and there was a lot
It,
of pressure.
yeah,
Before, there
yeah.
was no pressure.
Exactly. You were the under the radar team. Now you're on
Under
the
the
radar.
radar. All of a
Yeah,
sudden,
you're on the radar.
like you guys are, like you said, you're rating us.
Yeah,
Like we
yeah.
didn't want to be rated,
Exactly. That was the best
but
thing, man. It's
that was
always
the
the
best part.
best to
Yeah.
be under the radar. No one knows you're coming and you catch them by surprise. And
Yep.
again, like I said, like I very much liken my career to yours because we kind of were those teams, right? Like under the radar. Yeah, maybe, we'd both make finals. We'd both make semis. We'd both had good upsets, but we still never won. And so that made us different, right? That made us different. But you're right. Sometimes the pressure, the notoriety, the, having a target on your back, it almost feels like shit, man. Like it was fun the other way around.
It
It
was
was fun when
100%.
you were chasing, and it
Yep.
sucks to be chased or hunted. And it's like sometimes, what I think teams like ours, I think what kept me going was after the tournaments were over and we had a tough loss, for example. Everyone would say they're finished. Everyone would say Sal's finished. Everyone would say, man, it was lightning in a bottle. It was a flash in the pan. It wasn't anything special. They had a couple of good tournaments, a couple of good matchups. It worked out in their favor. And that's what kept me coming back. That's what kept me coming back because I was like, nah, man, like I'm going to prove it to you over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But at some point, I think for us, New York Union, for example, 2019, when we lost to Thurab in that final, in that Faisal Banji tournament by a point, I think for me, that was it too. Like, it was like, damn, like that hurt.
Yeah. I think just naturally, man, like at some point you hit a break point and you're like,
Yeah.
something's got to change. Like,
Yeah.
you'd be an idiot to continue.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you don't have to necessarily change the whole squad, but change something. Like, do something.
Right. And that's when the change happens. We hear the rumblings of Shanu leaving RKs. He's gonna go join 786. It becomes this huge get for you guys, right? Like you guys are now, wow, they got Shanu, right? Like shit, man, Shanu top dog, right? Like everyone knew who Shanu was. And Imran's gonna move to the back right. Shanu's gonna come in the middle. It makes 786 a contender again. It changes the vibe, and you take one of the best centers in the game, have him join you, seemed like the perfect match. But we also hear that 786 is no more.
Yeah.
And Toronto Elite is born. Tell me about that transition. What happens to 786? Why the move to Toronto Elite? Why the name change? What truly happens in this time?
Okay, so New York, we take a bad L.
Yeah.
Shanu takes a bad L.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I think we were like, this was like me and Riaz just watching and observing, like,
right,
something's off there.
Yeah.
And we're looking at ourselves and we're like, something's off here too.
Here.
Yeah. They had a lot of old guys.
Yeah.
We had a lot of young guys. They had the experience.
Right.
We had the hunger. It kind of felt like a good match. And I think it was, like, to be honest. Shanu's my guy. Shanu is the first person like that came up to me in a tournament and he's like, yo, you're that guy.
Really?
First person. And there's a picture.
I could see that.
It was an arcades tournament at some point. And I finished playing a game or something, like, I don't know, it was a good game or something. And he comes up to me. I never talked to Shanu before.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, you're it, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, bro. You're the coolest guy I've ever seen.
100%, dude. He would always be that guy that always giving people confidence and always encouraging.
Yeah, bro. So like for me to possibly team up with Shanu was like a dream.
Yeah.
I was hyped, super hyped. So we actually go out for dinner in New York.
Oh.
Right on the spot.
Okay.
Me, Riaz, and Shanu. And we start talking with, sort it out, kind of figure out like where you guys at, where we at.
Yeah.
What do you have to offer? What do we have to offer?
Yeah. Misery loves company, man. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we love that. We love that company that night. We're really happy with the outcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, we decided we'll kind of merge in a way.
Okay.
Now I can't comment on how it went down on their end.
Sure, of course.
Because I to be honest, I don't even know.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it made more sense to not keep a name.
Yeah.
RKs or 786ers.
Right.
And let's just start something fresh, just so everyone starts off on a new, new little groove.
Exactly. Yeah. It's new vibes. Yeah.
No hard feelings either way on either teams. Like Ali Ramtula 786ers, and there's still a lot of RK's players.
Was Ali upset about that for like
I don't think he was upset.
Yeah.
He was probably surprised a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he was out of the loop at that point,
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, of course.
He didn't really know, but then he heard it and he's like, yo, man, what's up?
Yeah, what's up? Yeah. Why'd you close
Sorry, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was just a new vibe. It was a new step. It was a new direction. Yeah.
Yeah. And we wanted to start fresh. Like we wanted to start fresh, and this was a perfect way. Shanu was a great center at the time.
Yeah.
I was also a center at the time. So
exactly. You taking that hit, that sacrifice, moving to the back right for him. Like how was that?
Yeah. No, it was okay. Like it's whatever, man. Like
you didn't mind it. You didn't mind it. Yeah, you didn't mind it.
And then the day when it comes down to you got a choice to make, and
exactly
if you can win with that, do it.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Now, can you confirm this story? Riaz tells me this story. Riaz Chamsi.
Okay, then I can't confirm it then.
Toronto Elite, when you guys were thinking of names, he had suggested OVO, Ontario Volleyball Organization. And you said no to it. Is that true?
Probably.
I mean, I think OVO would have been sick.
No, man, come on.
No, aren't you a Drake guy? Aren't you Toronto?
I'm a Drake guy, but he's
the six, right? The sixth north, whatever. All the shit.
Yeah, you guys no, it was a little bit too much.
OVO.
It was a little much, man. And Shanu didn't even know what OVO was, bro.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, no idea. No idea. 2019 comes along, and you guys come to Minnesota as Elite.
Yeah,
and you have Shanu, yourself, Czech, Riaz, Samir, right?
Yep.
Abbas Rai, Swaggy, Nanji. I mean, it's all there for you guys. You got the youth, you got the vets with Czech and Shanu. You're there. Riaz is there. Like, you got everything. Yep. And you guys get to the quarterfinals, I believe, and get knocked out to Orlando A.
Orlando A, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty sure it was Orlando A.
Okay.
And I think you beat their B team in the qualifier.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
To get there.
Yep.
You lose to the eventual finalists. So, I mean, it is what it is. And, it's, again, the first step to a new team, a new vibe. So I'm sure you weren't too disheartened. But did you think after that tournament, like, hey, this team could work? You got to give it a couple of shots.
Absolutely.
Gotta build it. Do you think it was going to work out?
Yeah. That was a good start. That was a good start for us.
I thought it was a good start too.
That was just gelling and figuring it out.
Get your feet wet, try to understand each other.
Yeah. How are you going to play with each other? Blah, blah, blah,
Exactly.
I think the difference for some of my guys was playing as, like you said, as a team that's rated now.
Exactly.
Like going into that tournament, there was a lot of chatter about this team.
Yeah.
And we're not used to that,
You're right.
So I think that's where some of the struggles were. And that was fine because our first tournament, get it out of the way, figure it out. At the end of the day, you want to win, you got to be that team.
Exactly.
You're going to be talked about. You're not going to win like as an underdog. Regular.
All the time. Yeah. Then
you want to get a dub, like figure it out.
Exactly.
That was kind of like our figure it out kind of tournament,
After that, we see you guys 2019 Faisal Banji's Memorial Cup. And it's a very similar team. We meet you guys in the quarters, I believe. New York does. And it's a tough quarterfinal. I think the first game you guys had us and we somehow pulled it off. And we win 2 straight. I think Jaxie comes. We just switched Jaxie to the back center. I played front center. It was one of those weird things that we did and pull it off. At that point, did you kind of like, were you kind of like thinking like, man, we're kind of where we started. Like we're stuck. We're a quarterfinalist team. I could have just done this with 786 the whole time.
That's a tough one.
I'm sure like aspirations by adding all this talent is, listen, we're going to do better. But again, you're stuck in the quarters. A sense of like still disheartening. Like, are you now disheartened because now back-to-back tournaments, quarterfinals?
Yeah, that sucked, bro. That sucked.
Yeah, I could 100%. I could imagine.
I think, and I feel like for me, like, sacrificing probably the most.
Exactly.
And coming out with an outcome that was not great.
That hurts. It sucks
because you're like, inside, you know what you could do.
Exactly. And you're in prime years, right? Like these are
Yeah,
prime
like,
years. Like,
and nothing against Shanu, because Shanu's a G, bro. Like,
oh, of course, of
if
course.
he was just, let's say, a little bit more on that day or that hour,
Yeah.
he'll win us the whole tournament.
Oh, that's how Shanu was.
That's how he was. So we were willing to risk it on
Yeah.
that. And I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah.
he played. I think he played well overall. It was
He
just,
did. He did. He did.
it just wasn't. It wasn't there, man.
It wasn't there. Yeah. It's like, you know, like I said, like you put all this on paper, it looks great, but sometimes on the court, it doesn't, you know, always result in what you think.
Yeah.
Did you think that was the end of Elite or 786? Did it almost fizzle out? Because
No, I think we would continue, bro.
you
Had
you
it
think
not been for the pandemic.
you think you guys were gonna be there 2020 New York and all that? Like
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
that was the plan the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. Like we didn't talk about stopping.
Okay, okay. So it
Actually,
wasn't.
like, really, till this day, we never had a real conversation about it.
Oh,
Oddly enough.
because that's where I'm gonna get at next. Because
Yeah.
the pandemic happens. We don't hear about Imran Nasser. We don't know about Elite. We don't hear about 786. Obviously, they're, you know, Shanu. We don't hear about Shanu much. And you go into a little bit of a semi-retirement, I guess you could say. Coming out of the pandemic, nobody from Elite, nobody from 786 said, "Hey, let's start our practice again. Let's do this again." Nobody.
No, so what happened was, when the pandemic hit, obviously the beginning portion, no one said nothing.
Of
Because
course.
we didn't know what was happening.
Of course.
We were about to go to the tournament.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had a squad for that. I don't remember exactly. I don't think Shanu was gonna play that tournament.
Okay.
I don't think he was in for that one.
Mhm.
But yeah, regardless, so we were planning on going. Pandemic hits, everything starts to calm down, and that's when I thought, this is my time to leave.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I was done, bro. I was done. I had nothing left to give.
Were you just were you just spent, like you were just like, that's it, I gave it my all, like?
Yeah. You know what? More than the sport, like, because I love playing volleyball. I love competing. I love seeing you guys and fight. Going to war.
Yeah.
But bro, so much shit goes down when you're captaining teams.
Oh yeah, dude. That's the worst
like,
part. That's the worst part.
It was too much, bro. Like, I had just done, like, what year are we in now? We're talking about 2019.
Yeah, 2019. Yeah.
Or
2020,
8,
2020,
2020. So 9-10 years that I've been captaining, basically.
Yes.
A bunch of dudes
Yes.
that some dudes I've like lost relationships with.
Yeah, ruffled some feathers and
some feathers. Maybe people change their perception of me.
Yeah.
Because the only time they see me is at volleyball.
Exactly.
But that's not who I am.
100%.
So that was weighing on me big time. Because there was some boys that was like feeling ways.
Yeah.
And all I wanted to do was win.
Yeah.
I didn't, at that point, I'm sorry. I told guys straight up, I don't care about your feelings.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people do that.
That's how you got to be as a captain, right?
That's what you got to do. You want to win? Okay. But when you do that and you don't win,
that's the toughest part.
That's the part that gets you. That's the toughest, bro. Like, I just screwed this guy and this guy. I could have had these guys with me and had the same result.
Exactly.
Or maybe even better, because we'd be underdogs.
Yeah. 100%.
So
100%, man.
I don't know. I don't think joining with Shanu was a bad move, because I love the guys and I love all that. Was it a bad move for maybe some of my own players? Maybe.
Yeah.
Because it definitely threw some people out. Not through. I mean,
I know what you mean. They were. Yeah, they didn't have a spot on that team anymore. And I think I agree. The best time. So it's funny because I was captain for so long. I left for a couple of years. I had moved to DC and Virginia. And when I was there for 2 years, I was like, dude, this is the best break. It was like just wonderful to be in that break. Yeah. But a part of me also was like, damn, like I would still go to tournaments with New York and they were gracious enough to let me play with them. But I was also like, damn, I'm not the leader. And sometimes you still want to be the leader, right?
There's you felt that on the court?
Yeah. And I was like, going into like leaving the captainship, I was like relieved.
Yeah.
But then going into a tournament and knowing that, man, like I can't be the way I want to be or say the things I want to say, just because I'm the back center, right? I can't do that. I got to respect the captain,
So who was your captain at that time?
Bode was the captain.
Bode was the captain. Yeah.
So I mean, the coolest dude in the world. Like the guy wasn't gonna he didn't give a shit. He didn't give a shit if I said something. But Bode's way of captaining was very lenient. It was very like, Bode could be a best friend, right? Like Bode, like that's how he was. That was his.
I actually played with him once. USA.
We're gonna get into that later on.
Yeah.
I have that in the rapid fire. I wasn't
Okay.
but anyways, as a Bode's that dude, right? Like he's just the nicest guy. Like he doesn't give a shit. Like he just wants to have fun. You know, he doesn't really care. Like he wants everybody to be happy. And my way was very different. It was very like, yo,
Hardcore,
go to sleep on time, wake up on time, get on the court on time. Like Bode had incidents where guys were forgetting shoes, and like that's how like because Bode was so nonchalant.
Yeah.
But for me, it was very much like it was different. But I learned so much being under Bode's captainship because I was like, dude, I need to implement some of that in when I'm a leader because I feel like I was too harsh. I was too much of like a lion and wanting to get every single win. Like I would instill in my guys to hate the other team.
Yeah.
I would make up stories. I would do random shit about other teams.
About us, bro?
No, nothing about 76. But I would make up stories just to get them hyped to beat that team. Like, it was one of those things, right? Like, and I missed it when I was in it. I left it. And when I wasn't in it, I missed it. I left it, came back, and I was a chairman at some point. So I still had that leadership, and I was different. Because I learned so much from Bode. I learned so much. And I think that, you start to realize like, listen, people's feelings matter. You got to be a little bit more politically correct. And maybe sometimes that doesn't lead to results. But if you're going to lose anyways, don't lose friends, right? Don't lose, don't make enemies. Right?
100%.
Like not worth it.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with that. But that was probably the reason.
The reason why. Yeah.
That was the reason. I was like, you know what? Let's just stop this.
Yeah.
I was getting really into softball at that time too.
Yeah, I know you're a big softball dude.
I was kind of hooked on that. So like, all right, you know what? I have softball in my back pocket right now.
Yeah. No, a lot of us contemplated the same thing, right? Like we were playing golf. We loved golf.
True.
And we were like, yo, maybe we should never go back to volleyball. And slowly but surely, right? The love comes back and Stanmore holds a really good tournament. And while you're in your hiatus, do people reach out to you about reviving and getting 786 back up and running?
Yeah. So I can't really go and get into names.
Yeah, of course.
I probably won't remember everyone. And,
yeah.
But yeah, thank you for everyone who reached out, man. Like it was sick. Yeah. I got a bunch of people hitting me up, like, dude, where you at, bro?
Right.
Like,
right.
Thing cool.
Right.
But I was stuck on it. I was out 100% out. Wow. I told everyone I'm out, bro.
Wow. Wow. During your hiatus, nonetheless, you and I still talk from time to time, through text. You text me about commentary and about this, about that. And we talk and I knew you still had the itch. You were still watching, which means that it was there. Right. At that point, when you're watching now, volleyball's back up and running. Cause it was easy for a lot of us to be like, yeah, we're not going to want to play. And then the volleyball tournaments happen and you're like, oh, I want to play, like you hear about, did the itch start coming back or were you like, nah, I'm done. I'm officially done. Like, I don't care what happens.
Yeah. So since then, there's been 2 tournaments. There was the UK and Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
The UK tournament, I didn't know about. Oh. That's how out of the loop I was.
Wow.
Like, don't hit me up about volleyball.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know. I didn't watch. I didn't see. No idea.
Uh-huh.
I didn't even hit up Swaggy. Like, I don't even know if he played. So I was really, really out of it.
Right.
I watched the Orlando tournament. That's because I wanted to see Swaggy at that point. I was talking to Swaggy, first of all, when I decided to stop, I didn't make anything formal. I just talked to my boys and I was like, listen, I'm out.
Right.
You're not going to convince me otherwise. I'm leaving. I want each and every one of you to decide if you want to continue playing or not.
Right.
If you want to play, go to any team that you want to go to.
Oh, okay.
Go wherever you want. I want to see all of you guys in different teams or all together, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Don't think about me because I had teams that I would never go to personally.
Yeah.
But there was other guys who might want to.
Yeah. True.
And I didn't try and like instill my view on them.
Exactly.
Go wherever you want.
Exactly.
So Swaggy ends up on Stars.
Yep.
Dinky ends up on Stars. Kamalia ends up on Stars. Atish, like a lot of names went that way.
Yeah.
Rai ended up with Joffrey's.
Yep.
I think that's maybe 1-2 at Arcades. I don't know, but mostly went to Stars and Joffrey's.
Yeah.
So I hit up Swaggy. I'm like, bro, what's going on for Orlando? This and that. He's like, yeah, I'm lifting with stars.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a sick one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let me watch this. So,
uh,
yeah, I'm watching it live. I'm hearing your guys' commentary. It was
right.
sick, man. Like, by the way, that live commentary is fire.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
It's
I
so
really
fire.
appreciate it. How at that point is the itch coming back still or no?
It started coming back
By watching.
by watching.
The
Watching the Orlando tournament, the itch came back.
Yeah, it's almost and I don't want to say it's the rise and fall of 786 or whatever, but it's almost, it hurts to kind of hear about, like, just the guys scattering and going to different places. It's like, man, like that time. And we've had this conversation a lot down here, me and my friends, like, was volleyball just more competitive before because there was a lot of teams like 786, like New York, like, like these mid-tier teams trying to make it, like there was just a lot more competition amongst the mid-tier teams. And now it's very much top heavy, right? Yeah. Like a lot of the stars are in like 3 teams or 4 teams. And it's like, shit, man, like, I just feel like that time was different, man. That time was like, yo, you fight with your own guys and you figure it out and you make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're right. That's what it was.
It was fun back. It was different.
It was like
just something. It was just something.
I haven't seen the vibes recently. So
that's true.
I'm hearing things like I'm hearing about Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like insane. And I've never played against Stanmore in my life. Yeah. I've never seen them. Are they coming to the tournament?
No, they're not. They're
not. So I've never played against them in my life. So that's another team that I would like want to get a look with.
Exactly. You're right. You're right. No, it's different now. The landscape has changed since you've left. I mean, it's been 4 or 5 years, right? When you are, and I want to say something. You mentioned the name, Ali Kamalia, Benny. When that semifinal against Stars in 2017. He played out of this world.
He played out of his mind.
So shout out to Ali. Ali, I know hopefully you're watching. And if you are, man, that was like, Ali's always been one of those guys like no one took a chance on.
Yeah.
And you took a chance. And
Benny Boo Boo.
Benny Boo Boo. And he showed up, man. He showed up. And sometimes those stories are the best. Sometimes you just need someone to take a chance on you. And he, against Thurab, right? Like a guy like he's probably faced 1,000 times and Thurab's always probably had his number. And now all of a sudden he's just, those are the 786 type stories,
Bro, that tournament gave him so much confidence that he's still doing that shit today.
I know.
Like he's getting on the court. He's like, nope.
Yeah.
Like, bro, damn, man.
Yeah. People would ask, where's Imran Nasser? Why would he stop? He was such a good player, And, it's funny because during the pandemic, we didn't have the sport. So a lot of us would get into conversations, debates, topics. And, a lot of, I'm a guy, you obviously love, I love to talk and I'm here today, obviously for that reason. But, I'd call, we'd sit down with my friends and we'd talk volleyball and there's nothing else much to do, but we try to keep that fire in us a little bit. And conversations come up like, okay, pick one, Imran Walji, Imran Nasser, right? Like, because you guys are, again, very similar in a sense, right? Because like both, with their teams, trying to figure it out, never getting too far, but always getting till the end and then just couldn't win it. Yeah, and for a very long time, I was like Imran Nasser. If I had a choice, it was Imran Nasser. There's not a shot at Imran Walji because I'll explain the end of the story. I was like Imran Nasser, man. I was like, for me, Imran Nasser, one of my favoriteest players to watch because he had something more than anybody else in this game. And even if he lacked in talent sometimes, even if he lacked in ability, even if he lacked in his roster, anything, he had belief. He always thought he was going to win every point, not every game. You thought you were going to win every point. And it was like that belief you don't find in centers today. You don't find in centers back then. Like it was like, again, the dog mentality, right? And so for me, I saw that on you. You kind of you're very even keel too, but you wore your emotions on your sleeves from time to time. Yeah, Imran Walji didn't. And for me, I like guys who wear their emotions on their sleeves. Like that's how I am, right? Yeah, and some guys love the Imran Walji, right? Because Imran Walji is just that guy who just does the same thing over and over again. And he can hit 100 balls in the same spot over and over again, right? Not mess up. So so we're sitting there and back and forth debate. And then I watched Imran Walaji play against Orlando in this past tournament. And you know, he was injured and he was hurt, and
This was in the final, right?
In the final. And you know, I see him like busting his ass, just trying to, you know, make it work. And I go to him and I'm just like, dude, you're you know what, you're freaking good. Like, you're so good. Yeah. Like, I don't think I ever like realized like you're that damn good. And it, again, not a shot at you. It's just my perception of him now is like, damn, bro, like maybe I was like not looking at certain things, because him playing the back right now and injured, and like, you know, it was like, that's what Imran Nasser would do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just did what Imran Nasser would do. And that for me was like the difference, right? So you guys have always been two guys that I've always, again, like, I think our careers were very similar in a way. Like, all three of us, we had the cards that we were dealt with, and we had to figure it out.
I agree.
And we
just see the similarities between all three teams.
Exactly. 100%. We were dealt the cards, and we just played. We just do with what we had, and you know what? We didn't care. We were like, you know what? We're gonna do it anyways. And I think that's why us three in that time frame, in that moment in time in volleyball, made it so much more fun. And a lot of the people talk about how competitive it was, because we were all trying to make our name. We were all trying to make it to the finals. We were all trying to beat the big dogs. And those are the most fun teams to play, right? And root for. People would ask, people would wonder, where's Imran Nasser? And they'd wonder if you'd ever return after Orlando. The rumblings start, you know, Durab and Imran. Durab is going to call Imran. Durab's going to do this. Durab's going to do that. Would it happen? Could it work? And first we hear, well, no, hold your horses. He's actually going to get Usman and Amir to join his team. And so he gets Lambada and Amir. And while those pieces are superstars, and obviously that automatically was like, holy the shit, like, he's got two of the top guys in the game. Everyone was like, okay, but what is he going to do in the front right? Like, what is he going to do there? And your name pops up. And you go, oh, no, it's not. Will it work? You know, Imran and Rob. And while you guys played against each other for a very long time, and it was fun and it was cool, there was almost a rivalry between you two. There was a little bit of a rivalry, right?
Rivalry, but it was very friendly.
It was friendly, a competitive rivalry. Competitive rivalry. And so the rivalry was fun to watch, right? And now, you know, will Imran be okay with playing with Durab, and will he join and play front right? Going back to your roots almost, right? And then we hear, Imran's on board. Imran's back. He's back at practice. I remember Durab telling me, though, listen, he's back at practice, but keep it low key. Don't tell nobody. You know, he kind of wants to see if he's got the vibes.
True. I told him, I did tell him, I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna, let me test it out a little bit.
Let me test it out. Let's see if I can hang.
How stupid could I be? You think if I show up on the court, he's gonna let me not come back?
Exactly.
Come on.
Tell me about this time. Tell me about after Orlando. You're itching. He makes the phone call. How does that all happen?
So after Orlando, I'm talking to Swaggy. I'm trying to figure out, like, dude, what the hell happened? I saw it. Like, I saw kind of the team look a little disconnected. Things weren't going their way. You know, they looked a little bit off, right? And Swaggy's my guy, right? So at that point, if I was gonna come and play, I was not reviving the team. Because the reason I left was for that exact reason.
Exactly.
I didn't want that part of the game anymore, right? So theoretically, if I'm going anywhere, that's where I'm going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I mean, there were other options for sure, but I didn't look too far into them.
Oh, really? Okay.
Probably good options too. Like, there's a lot of good options.
Yeah, of course. In Toronto, especially.
But yeah, man, I had Swaggy there. That was definitely a huge pull for me. Like,
I'm sure. I think Riaz was there too, right?
Riaz was there. Like, I was so out of the loop. I didn't know who he had on from my team. That I didn't even talk. I wasn't talking to those guys at that point, like too much about volleyball.
About volleyball, yeah.
But I found out, like, Swaggy was there, Dinky was there, Malia was there, Riaz was there, Atish was there. I'm like, bro, this is my in to play with those guys again. And not have to worry about the issues around it. I don't have to make those decisions.
Exactly.
I don't have to hurt nobody's feelings.
Right.
I get to come and play.
Just have fun.
And I get to play with the best back center in volleyball. How can you say no?
I agree.
On top of that, I'm hearing rumblings of Uzi and Amir.
Right.
Like, yo, what is happening right now, bro? Because it wasn't a planned, connected thing.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I don't like, at least as far as I know, I don't think like it wasn't a 4-way call where we're all like, oh,
Right.
it, it was kind of like they had their own thing going on. We had our own thing going on.
Right.
And my decision wasn't based on them.
You were
Their
going to do it.
decision wasn't based on me.
Okay.
I was going regardless.
Okay.
And I think they would have gone regardless too.
Right.
Just so happens that obviously you hear the 4 names involved.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not passing this up right now. If I'm going to play, I'm going to play here.
Exactly.
It was a no-brainer.
Did it take too much convincing or no?
Honestly, he didn't convince me much.
He calls you, tells you, hey, I want you to come play with us.
So in the past, we've always spoken, obviously, like, well, what if we ever played together? Let's play one tournament together, let's just try. It never happened. So that was always there. So when it came down to it, and if I told him, I'm like, listen, man, I'll come and practice for a little bit. If I decide that I want to play, I will play for you guys.
Okay.
100%. That's the decision. But I gotta come and I gotta see it out first and see if I'm even down again,
Exactly. Can I hang? Do I have it in me still? You wonder all those things, right? It's been a long time.
And I had a rude awakening in my first practice. It was bad, bro.
Right.
So yeah.
When you get this call, you come back, you sit and you see, you're like, oh, hey, man, I can hang. Okay, I like it. I'm back in it. You feel the vibes. You like the vibes. Uzi and Amir come on, and obviously practice gets intense, and it starts to you start to really see the true potential of what stars could be. Was the conversation there early on with you and Turab like, okay, listen, man, I'm going to need you in the front right, because mind you, you're going again back to your roots. For a guy who's played backline for a very long time, now you got to go in the front. And man, let's be real. In 2011, when you played frontline, it's way different than 2023. The front line is so much more involved. It's so much more of a factor. They can take points. They get lifted to, you see it now, KJ, Imran, Kizzer. The front line is everything. Okay.
Wow, bro. It's a great position.
It's the best. It's the best.
Great position. So, I didn't mind, bro. Like Swaggy's reminding me now that after the tournament, Swaggy himself hit me up. He's like, yo, dog,
time.
I need you.
It's time. Yeah, it's time.
Come on board. I was like, all right, cool. So at that point, I don't think that position doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's, one thing I noticed is you had all these interviews with other people and you talk about all these teams and you say Minnesota, New York, Orlando, and Turab.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot.
So I think that's going to change.
I think so too.
And you're going to say
Stars.
You're going to say United Stars.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he wants.
Yeah.
Right? Because since I've joined and since Uzi joined and Amir, he's been nothing but good to us.
Yeah.
Very accommodating.
Yeah.
He, if anything, to a fault.
Yeah, too accommodating. Yeah,
a little bit too accommodating sometimes.
Yeah.
But yo, man, it's weird. We got this team kind of formed out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's like
we get on the court and it's like it was meant to be.
Right.
Because it's in a weird way the positions worked with everyone.
Exactly.
Uzi's a good guy in that spot. He's a great support. His defense is outstanding and he's good to mash a ball at any given time.
Exactly.
Then you got Turab there, who's what he's gonna do.
Exactly.
And now what he's gonna do when he has confidence.
Yeah, with all the good pieces around him.
It makes him. I think he's gotten better. I think he's gotten a lot better since the last 6-7 months.
Yeah.
Right. Jobber, support, Irfan. It's Irfan. What can you say?
I mean, their lives have become easier now, right? They have you guys around them, right? They can actually not play to their full potential.
Yeah, I think it's making it easier for everyone. So it's everyone's kind of. We'll have to see how it goes, right? Obviously, we haven't really seen tough, crazy competition. We've been playing internally a lot.
Right. No,
this tournament's going to be interesting to see how we stack up, right, as a team. Yeah, it's feeling good, man. It's feeling good. I'm happy, bro. I'm happy.
Listen, I've been to your practices and I've been to one practice in particular, and I was in awe of how fast and how, it's just pound for pound, and it's amazing. And you can tell everyone's gotten better and everyone's just there's a vibe. There's a different vibe, right? With you and Usman and all these guys. And I had the luxury of playing against Turab and Usman that one practice. It was me, you, Jabir, and I think we take the first game, right? So Irfan comes. Irfan's like, dude, we just took the first game. Irfan's my little cousin, right? So he's like rallying me. He's happy. He's like, yo, we just beat Turab, you know? And like just to joke around. And I see you, Turab, and Usman talking in the corner. And it's kind of like you guys are like, and I was like, wait a second, Imran, you're playing with us. Like, what are you doing over there? But you can tell, like, that's the team vibe, right? Where, you know, it's practice. You got to go and tell Usman and Turab what you saw and like how to game plan against whatever's about to happen or whatever happened. And then they won every game after that. So it was like, it was one of those things where I was like, damn, okay. Like, and this for the first time, like I'm seeing Turab, like, you know, sitting down with you guys and listening and being like, okay, I can take something from Imran, I can take something from Usman, I can take, like, you know, everyone has a thing about them, and he can take that and almost feel confident in what he's about to do. When you do join Stars though, and while you did say that a lot of your guys were at already in Jaffrey's or were at Stars, anybody come back to you and go, well, you're back playing, why don't you just open up 786?
Yeah. I mean, so a couple of our regular players, yo, man, let's run it back. You know,
really, huh?
But and it was nah. Yeah, like I love 786, man, but I think everything comes to an end at some point.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We carried on the part of that team that we wanted to, which is Suhel. We play like we're gonna be playing with his initials on our sleeve, even with Stars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like that carries on. And that's all I really the name's the name, you know?
Exactly. I agree. Is the fire back? You know,
fire's so back, bro.
Do you see it in you? Like, do you see it like that, that fire you felt in 2015, 2016, 2017? Do you feel that?
Back, man, because I'm back to needing to prove something.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Like, it's crazy because I went into my first practice with Stars. And I think one of the first few balls, I got crossed up.
Right.
Like Turab looked, he put his hands in a way that I'm like, he's coming to this side of my body.
Right.
And then the ball goes to the other side. And all of a sudden I'm tripping on my own feet and I end up on the other side of the court on the ground.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I don't know if I can.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know?
I know what you mean.
But I had to prove to my own squad, my new squad.
Yeah.
That I'm coming in, I'm a leadership type guy. So when it comes to being on the court, I like to talk. I like to give my guys confidence.
Right.
And I like to talk some shit, you know? You can't do any of those things unless you can play.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
So I'm like, okay, I got to now prove because there's still 10, 15 guys on the team that don't know me.
Exactly.
And there probably was comments like, yo, who is this guy? Like,
he's
on the floor.
Exactly. No, you're right. You're 100% right.
So
I went through the same thing, man. Coming here into Orlando, I had to prove myself, reprove myself in a position I don't play, the back left. I'm just like, okay, I got to figure it out.
So same exact thing.
Yeah.
And what do you got to do? Like, you got to prove it. You just got to prove it, right?
Yeah, you just got to find it in you, right? Like, just to kinda, and it's fun. It's fun. You're right. The fire.
That's the best part of it, right? Now I'm coming in with a different mentality, right?
Every practice means something. Every practice, you're trying to prove something different to yourself, to your squad, to the guys watching. Like, yo, dude, like I'm doing this better. I'm doing that better. And it's almost like, man, like you feel like once you've made those strides, all right, now I'm ready, right? Like now I can do this.
100%. And like, getting some of these guys on your side, you know, some new players, you want to get them to kind of be rooting for you at the same time, you know.
Exactly.
Create that vibe with those guys, like
chemistry that
they don't know you, they don't know what you're about.
Exactly.
You know, some of these guys, they didn't live in Canada, like they just came here recently.
Yeah.
So like we're different.
Yeah.
And like me coming on the court compared to them coming on the court is two different types.
It's way different.
Things, right?
Yeah.
So now by like practice 3 or 4, I'm yapping.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm talking my.
You're back to Imran Nasser.
Like that, bro. You know, like when me and Turab go edit on the court, like, we could talk.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know, so I started doing some of that.
Yeah.
These guys like, yo,
who is
this guy? Like, what is he doing?
Yeah. Where did this guy come from?
Like, what? They just didn't understand it. I don't think. I mean, but yo, it's been sick.
What has it? You obviously are coming into a team that is established, right? In United Stars, right? Expectations are way different than when it was with 786.
Yeah.
So like obviously 786, you've made your runs and you were contenders and whatever. But Stars has already won.
Yeah.
Stars trying to get back to winning. And they won just recently in 2019, right? The pandemic took place, but then if you really look at it tournament-wise, they won 3 tournaments ago. Yeah. So it's not like they've been far along from their championship, but they're trying to recapture that. Yeah. Coming from a place where you were trying to beat the top dogs to now in a place where you are the top dog, and then also it's championship or bust, really, right? There's no rebuild. There's no growing pains. It's not like when you played with Shanu and you're like, yeah, one quarterfinal loss is fine. Quarterfinal loss is fine. No. This is like, we got to make the finals for sure. And then we got to go up against either Orlando or Minnesota, one of the top teams, and try to take them down if they're in the finals as well. What has that been like mentality-wise, mindset-wise?
So we haven't really spoken much until recently about kind of like what our goals are and stuff like that, for this upcoming tournament, right? But I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker if we lose.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think it's a deal breaker. There's a couple of reasons for that I'll share, but sure. I think we're very, very capable of getting to where we want to get to and do what we need to do.
Of course.
I think at the end of the day, we got the squad. We got chemistry, which is very important. We have a good game plan. Like, things are working. That's the main thing, Why do I think it's not like a deal breaker if we lose? Is because we're all here.
Yeah.
We ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, fine, you take a L, whatever, move on, go back to practice, come back again and try again.
Right.
The guys are still there. It's not a team that we're putting together for one tournament. Yeah, this is a sustainable thing right here, Yeah. This is the long haul kind of deal. Yeah. And everyone's bought into that, Yeah. So it's cool.
There's doubters, obviously, with everything. There's always going to be doubters, right? Yeah. People are like, oh, you can't just put all these this talent in one pool and figure it out, and you can't just unite all the stars. You see what I did there? You can't just do all that and think that it's going to work. On paper, everything looks good, but once you get on the court, it starts to, you start to truly see what everyone's about. Will their egos get in the way? Will one guy listen to another guy and blah, 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 blah. What is your take on that? Because let's be real, right? Stars are always there. Semis, for sure. Finals, most likely. It's just about catching the dub, right? And that's 50-50 at any point. But it's almost like, well, Imran Nasser hasn't done this in a long time. Usman hasn't done this since 2018, right? Like, he hasn't won since 2018. And even though he made the final in Stanmore, but it was with Jaffrey's, right? Like, a lot of people are just, naturally, there's going to be doubters. Can they all come together and make it work? What is your response to that?
I definitely think so. I think we can. Absolutely. Like,
do you see you guys as like the Golden State Warriors, where you guys got Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, and now it's like all this talent is together trying to go grab a chip?
I don't want to do that. I don't want to say that because I don't want to come off as cocky. Like, I'm not.
No, of course.
I think we're all on the same page on our team. It's like, we just want to win. That's it. That's the only thing. Yeah. We don't want to talk about winning. Yeah. Like, we don't want to flaunt that we think we're going to win. Yeah. Or we're humble in a sense too, that we know we can come into the tournament and there's going to be a 7-8-6 that's going to come at you. Exactly. And there's going to be a lot of them.
Exactly.
And you're not at home.
Yeah.
And you've never played together.
Yeah.
So there are so many factors going into this tournament for us, right?
Yeah, true.
I don't think it's a make or break if you lose. Right?
I agree.
The main thing is that there is no ego on this team. And I don't know if that's hard to believe or whatever the case.
Right.
But I kid you not, there is no ego on this team.
I would say, for me, it would have been hard to believe if it was 10 years ago. I think when we were younger, right, no chance this was happening.
No chance. Yeah.
Now that we're in our 30s and figuring out, like, listen, we have a couple of years left in the tank. Let's just work together and make it happen. Egos go down. You know, we're not the same people we were. We got kids now. We just moved on, right? Like, but I did want to ask you this: when you decide to come back to volleyball, what do you tell your wife? Like you tell your wife I'm done. Obviously she sees you now Friday nights. You don't gotta go to volleyball 2 nights a week. You know, what was that conversation like? Because I tell you right now, if I told my wife I'm done with volleyball, she'd be like, yo, thank God. Like,
oh man, she probably hated me. She probably hated me, bro.
She's like, yeah.
Life was good, man. Life
was good, right? It was different. It was different. And now you're back at it, and now you're playing 2 times a week, intense practices.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it must have been a very fruitful conversation.
It was probably quite disappointing, but and especially because I wasn't doing it with my squad.
Yeah,
if if I told her like I'm coming back, I'm bringing back 7, 6, this and that. But you know the big difference here is like I'm not organizing stuff. I'm not talking to players. Like,
you don't got to do all that. Yeah, you just got to worry about playing. Playing your best. Playing your best.
That's the main thing, bro. Like practice is at 10. I leave my house at 9:45.
Yeah.
Go to practice. Come home, go to sleep.
Chilling.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's so much easier, bro. And then and Tarab gives me a lot of leeway on the court in terms of talking.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he wants me to, you know, like he wants me to be an on-court leader kind of thing.
Exactly.
And that's like my natural instinct anyways.
Yeah.
I prefer to do that, you know.
Yeah, of course.
As opposed to like hitting guys up after practice and making sure they're okay.
Exactly, 100%.
So I'm getting, to be honest, I'm getting the sweet part of the whole deal.
Yeah, true.
You know?
True. You're right. What do you want Imran Nasser's legacy to be at the end of his career? You know, you were a guy who was a fighter. You were a guy that people look up to you as you know, like I said, a guy who was a believer. The dog. Like, what do you want your legacy to be at the end of the career? Like, is it just listen, man, believe in it and it's gonna work out?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big part of it. But I think the main thing is I want people to know like I'm there if you need help.
Yeah,
I'm there to mentor, guide.
Yeah,
like if there's young players that want to talk to me for whatever reason,
right?
I don't know if they will, but if they want to,
yeah. No, you're right.
I'm there. You know, hit me up.
Sometimes people, you're right. Like sometimes, you know, a guy comes off a certain way. You're like, I don't know if I can talk to him.
Yeah, like I'm here, bro. Like I like talking to people. I like helping people out.
Yeah, and you love the sport. You love the sport.
Yeah. And you know, if someone wants tips or wants to know, like, how did you figure out this or that?
Yeah.
So like, you know, so someone who's kind of giving back in a sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And someone who's always rooting for the guys who are not rooted for.
Yeah, me too.
That's my thing, man. Like,
me too, man. That's my thing.
Yeah.
We've been there. Yeah. We're done. Okay, rapid fire. You know how this works.
Oh, geez. Before we finish up, man, I didn't get a chance to talk about some of my other teammates that I did want to mention.
Okay,
you know?
Let's do it.
Because we were kind of on the topic of like sustainability in United Stars, right?
Yeah.
But that was a big part of this whole thing is like the second team. You know, that we got like, you know, there's guys coming up.
Yeah.
You know, so when it comes down to is this gonna work for you guys long term, or if you don't win now, what's gonna happen? Like, you could take an L, or you could win, or someone goes down for injury, or whatever the case, and you have guys right now who are ready.
Yeah, capable. Yeah.
Right. And they're only getting better. Like the practices are like these guys are stepping up. You know, like we got some real good gems in here for sure. And I don't want to name too many names and people get left out and stuff like that. But like, Fuad, keep an eye on Fuad.
Okay.
He's gonna be a big time netty. I could feel it. I could see it.
Okay.
He's gonna be big time. Muhaymin, big time player.
Muhaymin,
big time player.
Yeah.
That guy is he's up there. Like I haven't seen Alu play a lot, but I've heard a lot of comparisons between the two.
Yeah.
I see him being able to be in that top tier like Alu is.
Yeah.
He'll get there.
Yeah.
Which is a huge thing for us.
Oh my God, that's huge.
Massive.
That's huge.
But we got players, man, and that's all I want to say, really.
The next generation is going to be it's like coming, the next. Man. It's coming. It's coming. Like having a strong B team is what truly makes your team A team better, right? Like
absolutely, bro.
It's where it all happens. Yeah.
They're improving day to day, so I'm happy with it, man. Like I just want to shout those guys out, you know.
No doubt. That's awesome. Yeah, rapid fire, quick. First thing that comes to your mind, someone you modeled your game after. Give me one guy.
So tough. That's so tough. It's like a mixture of it's like a mixture of probably Nads and Throb. And,
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I took from Throb a lot was, or I want to, is the finesse
Oh, the finesse. Digging in the net. Yeah, yeah.
Nasty.
Oh, no one can do it. No one.
Nobody
I
can
don't.
do
I don't think anyone will ever do it as good as him.
It's
Yeah,
ridiculous. But that's like a
ridiculous.
huge. That's just
Same, bro. I try to do that my whole career, man. Never
yeah.
worked.
That move is ridiculous.
It's too good.
Nads was the jump hitting initially,
the hop
right
step,
off, hop step,
Yeah.
and Uzi, man.
Yeah.
When I watched that guy in New York,
So clean, man.
bro, I could not believe that he could plant his 2 feet and jump straight up every single time, and hit the ball no matter if it was low or high, and it would get the same outcome.
Exactly. And that's the thing. You said the same thing about Imran. So look at the comparison, right? Like the
thing.
same guys. It's just Uzi hits a little bit harder, right? Like it's one of those things, right? Like,
and bro, Uzi, oh my God.
yeah.
There was one practice, bro. Sorry to come off track here.
No, it's okay.
I'm playing in the front right.
Mm-hmm.
Uzi's in the back left.
Yeah.
Ball comes up high. I get up. I'm going for my left hand swing.
Mm-hmm.
I cock back.
Mm-hmm.
I swing.
Mm-hmm.
The ball goes over, hits the player, and goes backwards. But I didn't touch the ball.
What do you mean?
Uzi came from behind me. He jumped over me, and he one-handed spiked it before I could get my hand on it.
Are you serious?
I kid you not.
I could see. I could see it. I could see it. He spiked.
Bro.
He's Uzi. Like when we played in the finals in 2018, when we played against him, and they wiped Orlando, and I was just sitting there like, we played these guys the night before. We could take him. I remember like the third ball of the game in the finals, he spikes the ball at me from back center. I'm just like, dude, you know what? It's done.
I couldn't believe it, bro. I got dunked on in volleyball.
Yeah. Your biggest rival coming up in the game. Who would you always get up to play? Like the biggest rival for you guys. Even it could be a team.
Joffrey's.
I like it.
Joffrey's. I think because we had those finals appearances against them.
Yeah.
We could never really beat them.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like I don't think they even wanted to play their strongest lineup against us. Like I don't like that.
Center you love playing against the most?
Center I like playing against the most.
Back center.
Give me some good options.
Oh, well, you grew up in the greatest time of centers. You played against Faisal. You played against Shanu. You played against Abbas. You played against Thurab. You played against Nads. You played against everybody.
So Faisal, I can't say because I wasn't in that era at that time. Like I wasn't.
Yeah, you were still in the front or whatever.
I was still in the beginning. So, I would say Thurab.
Yeah, I could. I would say
Thurab.
You guys had some good games.
We had so many battles, and we still battle right now. Like
so many battles.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun. A lot of shit talk going on.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of bets going
on. You're a front right now. Top 3 front rights in the game, in your opinion, today.
KJ, number 1.
Agree.
Jeez. Give me some options, bro. I'm so out of this. I'm
Kiz,
so out of it.
You got Kiz, right? You got Kizzer. You got yourself. You got a lot of front rights, man. You got Yasser Wali from New York. You got there's so many. Trying to think. Jaffrey's where he said Abbas Rai still technically plays front right sometimes. There's he's coming with the team this tournament, which is super cool.
Yes, I would.
I mean, he's doing some awesome stuff, by the way. So that's super cool what he's doing. Yeah, man.
I'm gonna go with Raya's number. I'm gonna go with Kiz at number 3.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Raya at number 2, and I'm gonna go with KJ with number 1.
I like it.
KJ's that guy, bro.
KJ's that guy.
He's that guy.
He's that guy. Best moment in your career was 2015 final against Jaffrey's.
Oh, what the final?
Yeah.
That was 2015.
Yeah.
That was going back and watching that, like,
you felt it,
man. I almost cried, bro.
Yeah, you felt it.
That was it. That was the one, man. That was the one. Yeah.
Worst loss you've taken? Was that it too?
That was it. That was the same. That was the worst loss. Yeah.
Ali Ramtullah.
Ali Ramtullah to me is the GOAT.
Yeah.
He is the absolute GOAT. You know,
that's awesome.
You know what? He's done so much.
Yeah.
For all of us.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times it's easy to take him for granted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he puts himself in some situations.
Yeah.
You know?
That's Ali for you, right?
But yo, he's too nice of a guy. He put 35 of us on.
That's crazy.
On his own free time.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And
he took a chance. He took a chance with a lot of guys. Yeah.
Not too many left, but
yeah, true.
He did it, man, and that was you know, that was gangster.
It was the beginning. It was the beginning. The top 3 centers in the game today, in your opinion?
Okay. Good question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go starting with number 3. Can I pick a center that's not currently playing center?
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna actually go Alu on number 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go. I definitely had my number 2 in my head, and I just completely forgot for some reason.
It's funny because a lot of centers don't play center anymore, so that's why you're probably just like it's like
It was Walji.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'm gonna count him as a center.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Alu, Walji, and number 1.
Yeah.
And if I could switch that position wise and call Uzi a center, I'm putting Uzi at number 3.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 2 or 3.
2 or 3. It could go either way.
Either way.
All of them are nasty. Nadim
is probably the best talent that kind of didn't.
Right? I always say that. I always say
that.
Yeah, I always say
like should have
like,
happened.
What could have been?
Like if things just maybe turned in a different way.
Yeah.
I think he takes over probably.
Yeah, I agree.
He probably goes on a run for chips.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, kind of sad.
Yeah, just doesn't work out all the time. Next, Swaggy,
Mr. Swaggy.
He's sitting right there.
He's a top tier guy.
Agreed.
I put him in a very high category in terms of netties, and I hold him to a very high standard.
Yep.
But my little brother, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Swaggy was he was mentored kind of by Suhel.
Yeah.
At that time, Suhel was kind of like coming up, and Swaggy was just new. So he has that in him.
Yeah.
You know, he got some of that in him.
He does. Next, Riaz Chamsi.
Oh, best teammate possible.
Agreed.
Best. You can't find someone who can do what he does.
Just a cool dude. I mean, just loves the sport and is such a nice guy to talk to, hang out with, joke around with. Always there, always encouraging. Always just Riaz knows I love him, and he's just a really nice dude.
When you hit me up, I called him first.
Yeah, I know. That's right.
Yo, bro, I'm so nervous, man. Help me out.
Yeah. I saw him in Orlando just a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't even hang out with him because I got sick. But I met him at practice, and it was just, every time you see him, man, it's just fun. It's just, you always got to smile. He always got to smile. You got to smile. Abbas Rai.
I call him Bars.
Bars.
But I call him Bars, man. He's doing his thing right now.
Yeah, he is. He is doing his thing. I like that.
To be honest, I'm not too in touch with him right now in terms like on a volleyball level.
Right.
But he's a stud, bro.
He is.
From what I remember. Now, I haven't seen him play.
Yeah, same. I think a lot of us haven't, but he was up and coming, man. He was going to be the one of the best frontline players. Like,
I think he was on pace to take over my spot on 786.
Yeah, I could have seen that.
Like I think we were kind of moving in that direction a little bit. We were thinking about it a little bit.
I could have seen that.
He's definitely got it.
For sure.
Got mad love for Abbas Rai, 100%.
Always. Shanu.
Shanu's a G. Shanu's a killer.
Yeah.
And you can't affect him. You can't.
I
You
know.
can't get in his head.
You can't. You
You
can't.
can't.
His mind is just as strong as his body, bro. Like it's just
Yeah.
like he's just like stubborn. Like you just can't
Yeah.
get through his head.
So, yeah.
Sajid.
Sajid Ali Muhammad.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Sajid Ali Muhammad. He's a very intense competitor.
Yeah, but I love watching him with that Jesus hair that he's got and everything.
Uh,
Like it's just a good, like, I always remember him in 786 so much,
but
always
when you look at Sajid, you're like, you see this like really calm,
yeah.
zen
And he
guy.
gets on the volleyball court and you're like, what?
Yo, bro.
What happened to this dude?
Yeah. So he's
uh
intense, man. So I like that. Yeah.
Adil Jaffer.
Oh, same family as Sajid. So that intense,
It still comes
that,
up.
that intenseness.
Where is Adil and Nads and like all these guys? Like, do they still like have the itch or no? Does Adil still have the itch?
No, volleyball?
Yeah.
Zero.
Really?
Yeah. But they're here, like we're playing we're playing other sports together.
They play softball and stuff, I'm
Playing
assuming.
softball. Nad's playing soccer and golf. So
Man, it's just,
yeah.
like those guys, you miss them, you miss them.
I know,
Where's
man.
Scooter and where's all these other guys? Like, what do they do? Like, where are they? I should have a, at the end of the movies, or you're like, oh, Scooter is here now, doing this.
Yeah.
And Adil's here now, and he's just
I need
retired
that,
and
bro.
has
I
6
need to
kids.
know where these guys are at, bro.
Like,
know,
man,
man.
those days, man, seeing those kids, man, like seeing those guys, like you kind of want to know, like, where did that love stop?
Yeah.
Come back, guys, come back and play volleyball. If you're listening to this, come back, because you guys made it so much more enjoyable, man.
Come back, man. We got space.
Yeah. Taha Karmali.
Oh, Taha Karmali. One word to describe him?
Yeah.
I don't know a word. Like I can't really get a word on him, but he's hunger for more.
I could see 100%. I could see
hunger
that.
for more.
I could see
when
that.
When we picked up Taha, that was along the same lines of like the type of players we would pick up.
Exactly.
Like the guys, Taha,
yeah,
Abbas Kaku,
yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
Players,
those
Sam,
guys.
Sam,
yeah,
these are players that were not known.
Exactly.
They didn't make their mark yet, but they could, and they had the potential to.
Exactly. And this was
and
your
they
chance.
did. I think with us, a lot of those guys did.
Exactly.
Like you see Sam now, like Sam's with us, right?
I know,
like,
man. Crazy.
Even when I was out, he was
he won a few trophies, and he's like, yeah, he's doing his thing, man.
He's playing like a G, and
back in the game. Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty cool.
I got a good one here. Jay Singh.
Jay Singh
from USA. Yeah,
bro.
the coolest dude, right?
To watch this.
Yeah, I will. He watches all of them. He watches all.
When I was writing my little notes for this, I was thinking about USA.
Yeah.
And the one person that I wanted to mention was Jay Singh.
Yeah.
Because that was my boy.
That's my guy, man.
And you guys get the luxury of seeing him more often, probably.
Yeah.
But I met him probably at that tournament, or maybe one tournament before that.
Yeah.
We vibed out at that time.
Yeah.
Played together once. Sick dude. I want to see him back.
I know, man. He lives in Jersey now, man. We talk to him, but like, it's like, we don't see him. Like, he's just like,
I want to see him come to a tournament, whether he's playing or not.
I tell him all the time.
Tell him Imran said.
I told him come to Minnesota. Let's just hang out. He's like, yo, you want me to come to Minnesota? Like, he's like, yo, right, what?
So next New York tournament.
Yes.
I want to see Jay Singh.
Yes, please. Jay Singh.
Jay Singh. Let's go.
Come on, man. Come back, bro. Jay's that guy who's like a Punjabi looking guy, but then like the moment he speaks, you're like, dude, this guy's definitely from New York. Like he's 1000% from New York. Yeah, like he just sounds like he's from Brooklyn. USA. Tell me about USA. That was the coolest thing you guys put together. Safe, Shane, Bode, Jay, Matham, I believe. It was really cool.
We had Nicknam.
Nicknam, yeah. My brother-in-law. What was that like?
That was fun, man. Like it was good. It was a good tournament.
It was fun, right? It seemed like just a chill vibe.
It was chill, man. Like we were, look at the group of guys that we had. We were we were having fun, man.
It was pretty weird, like when we heard about it, and we're like, wait, all you guys are coming together for a tournament? And it was like, and I remember their flight got canceled. They drove up.
Yeah.
Like the very next morning, it was crazy. It was crazy.
I think we played pretty well. I
think you guys lost in the quarters, I think, but it was a good showing. It was a good showing.
It was fun at the very least.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. There's so many videos of you guys like sleeping while like you're watching the games. Jay was like knocked out because they drove up that morning. It's so funny, man. Like
I think Jay was a highlight.
yeah, he was.
Like he made that team, you know,
He made it.
like he made it fun. He made it enjoyable.
He's just a good time.
But yo, those are guys like that was probably my only chance to play with any of them. I don't see myself being able to like, you know, do something like that again.
True.
I probably wouldn't, but sick. Yeah. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I got that experience with those guys.
Maybe one day we'll play together. You never know.
One day, man. Maybe
you played with all the Karmalis, Taha Karmali, Turab Karmali. I gotta get a shot. Yeah, I gotta get a shot, right?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
The GOAT. Who's the GOAT in your mind?
The GOAT of volleyball currently as it stands. Oh no, currently the GOAT. I got two names. You know both the names. I'm gonna lean towards this one because this is more my era, and I'm gonna say Turab.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Because think about like there are names. There's actually a handful more names, but I can't say that because I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
Yeah. I guess you can say that. Yeah.
I wasn't
there. Yeah. I guess you weren't. Yeah. The Faisal era, you weren't like.
I was not there for the Faisal.
We're not there, really. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're actually right. The last one is the best one. Suhail Freshie Nasser.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
One word would be heart.
Yeah, heart.
And I'll say that, I guess, for a few reasons. Because he's the heart of the team. He's the heart of actually anything he did.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of heart.
Yeah.
Himself, right? Yeah, tough to speak on, but
I'm sure
he's yeah, man, we're playing for him, bro.
Yeah.
So that's it. At the end of the day, man, he's a spark plug. He was always a spark plug.
Yeah.
He
loved the sport.
Showed a lot of emotion. You know, he loved the sport. He was so passionate about volleyball. Like I remember we went to a stars practice when we first started. Konen was lifting at that time. And he was like, oh my God, Konen. He came to a point where Konen's dad was doing something and he's like, yo, you're Konen's dad. You know? He was so like thrilled by the fact that he was just like in their presence.
Yeah.
You know, he had so much respect for those guys.
100%.
Sick dude, not a bad bone in his body.
Yeah.
You know, he left on such a high note. 2015 New York. He was supposed to be there. He flopped. Went to Iraq. Yeah. He did some dentistry work for the Global Kindness Foundation.
Yep.
Which to me at that time I didn't really understand. Like I got it why he was
doing
it.
Yeah.
But like it was volleyball, man.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. But the fact that he chose that over volleyball just shows, right? Like
yeah. So it was kind of like, man, you know, the way things happen, and he went there and he did such a great thing, you know.
Yeah.
And he left his mark on the world.
Yeah, he did. He 100% did. And we all remember Suhail. I remember, you know, every tournament after 786 would always remind us. They would always remind us who Suhail was. And so a lot of love for Suhail. We still think about him all the time. And if there could be any sort of, you know, memorial or something we can come back to, this interview will always be one of those things. If you want to know about Suhail Nasser.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, my words don't even come close to describing him, but you know, at least that's just a little glimpse of it.
Yeah. I'm going to leave you with predictions. I need your predictions. I just want to know who's going to be in the finals.
Woo! I'm going to take, I don't want to be cliche, but
sure.
I'm going to say Stars and Orlando.
That's what everyone wants to see.
I'm going to say Stars and Orlando. Now, obviously, that's my hope.
Yeah,
I'm personally looking for.
Agreed.
Play the best, beat the best.
We're all looking forward to that,
right? Yeah. That's what we want for sure. That's but teams that can slip in, there's many of them.
I mean, it's so funny because you and I will always think about those guys, right? Because we've been there. Yeah,
exactly, man. We are those guys. You
know?
So,
exactly.
New York. Okay, so I'm not too in tune, but I'm hearing things like I asked around about like who's going where and whatever, you know. New York seems to be looking nice.
Of course.
Minnesota, I watched a lot of Minnesota because of what they did
Exactly.
last tournament.
Exactly.
They're looking super nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know the guys on their teams. So I'll meet them this time around.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn, bro. Like Nicknam in the center is playing nice too.
Yeah.
Wings on the side hitting.
Yeah.
And the front line is steady. Yeah,
No
they
doubt.
look good, man.
No
They
doubt.
look good.
No doubt.
So
home tournament, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if Joffrey's guys are coming and yeah. I don't know if they're coming.
No.
So
from what I heard, no.
Yeah. So let's just leave them out. So those will be my 3 teams.
4 teams. You know, everyone wants to see Stars Orlando. No offense to Minnesota. No offense to New York. Trust me, those are my guys. Like, if New York was in the finals tomorrow, I'd be the first guys happy. But everyone wants to watch Stars in Orlando because they feel like that's the star-studded final, right?
Yeah.
If people don't understand what Rob truly did. What Rob did was like, hey, I can't beat Orlando. So I'm going to go get the 2 guys that can. And Imran Nasser did it in 2016, and Usman Lambada did it in 2018. So, I mean, hey, if you put them together, it's bound to work, right? It's bound to work.
Bro, we'll see what happens, man. But that's I'm looking forward to Saturday. I think you said afternoon.
Yeah.
It's a nice little warm.
The fact that you still remember means that you still got it. You got it in your head.
That's what I was waiting for.
The 2.5 hour interview right now, and you're like, damn, like you still remember that, huh? Yeah.
There's some teams. I don't know if anyone's gonna even last to the end of this interview. It's quite long. But there's some games I have circled.
Yeah.
100%.
No doubt.
Orlando's definitely one of those games. Like I want to be in that action for sure.
Exactly.
Minnesota, we have some revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. It is.
New York is always fun, of course, but like those 2 teams, like we definitely got them circled.
No doubt. Thank you so much, Imran. I really appreciate your time. Sorry it went much longer than expected, but I told you, man, you're a natural. It's going to be easy. You didn't have to, you looked perfectly fine to me.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
So thank you for your time. Thank you for being real. Thank you for laying it all out there. Thank you for talking about the times where we grew up in 786 in New York and what we had to battle through, and the times, playing against, like you said, guys like Rob, guys like nobody really knows that feeling, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for that, man. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed yourself.
No problem. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Just to end it off, Lifted Podcast on its way up.
Thank you, man. Thank you,
bro. Like we see the notifications, bang, we're on it right away. And these are 2-hour interviews, man.
I know, man.
We're sitting through them. Man.
Yeah, people watch them in parts, man. Just watch them in parts, man. That's it.
But you're doing your thing, man. So keep it up. A lot of hard work goes into it. I noticed. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I definitely take notice to that. And shout out to you, bro. You're killing it, man. So keep it going. We all love you. We all love you.
Thank you so much, brother.
Big part of the game that just it brings excitement for us.
Keeps it going, right? A lot of the youth watch it, and they love it, and you don't understand. Every guy's, you send me messages, you call me, you tell me when you see me. All that stuff keeps me going. It keeps me going, keeps me wanting to do this. Because if a young kid comes to me and tells me, dude, I loved your podcast, it makes me want to play the game. It makes me want that's like, how you said you want to be there for help. Yeah, and you want to help people out. Like this is my way of helping. Like I can get you to love this game, man. It's going to keep us all together. Like now I know Imran Nasser because of volleyball, right? Like it is what it is, right? It keeps us together. Now I'm excited to see you in a week. So like, it's one of those things. I do want to ask for a favor. Throwback vault. I see it in the back. Imran Nasser. He's got a thing. Go check it out. Nice fitteds, sick stuff. Bring me something.
I got you, man. Actually, Rob has something that he's gonna wear to this tournament that's gonna turn a lot of heads.
No way.
It's a vintage piece, and it's relatable, and it's gonna be interesting.
Wow.
I definitely I found something that goes perfect for the scenario.
Okay.
It's gonna be a little hit on a different team, so it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
But yeah, man, give me something. Knicks. You know me. I'm a Knicks. Yeah. Let me know. Let me know. All right. Thank you so much, Imran. Good night, everybody. I love you all. Next week, Maitham Mehdi, Monty, Minnesota, the last interview. And that's it. It's game time. Here we go.